I know that we had
Yay.
a great fucking tragedy going on in our last session, and we're talking about how to bounce back from that. And we have a couple of new characters that are going to be joining us as a result of the mass exodus of player character hit points last session. So we had Ribbon. Ribbon is like the only one that is on screen right now. And it is 6:30 a.m. and to the north is the bloodbath that was the Goblin Tower. You see here that Loper and Ribbon were the only two that made it out alive. So here, let me stream my screen to you guys so you can see. But any ideas you got, I'm open to it. Yeah. Now everyone can see.
Um, well, I suppose my first question would be, where are we currently?
We, as in the new characters joining.
Yes.
You know, we can slot you in at the pace of plot. I know that to the southwest we were staying at Robin's Nest, the inn, where we had it in good with the owner Robin. So you know,
Could you
whenever
zoom out
makes sense.
so I could try and see how far away Marlene is from where we are right now?
Oh, hella far.
Yeah.
There you go. Be like a boat ride or many days over land. Just to give you like an estimation on how I figure distances, I'll I'll show you what like one day would look like.
Very much appreciated.
This length right here is approximately one day of travel
On land.
on land, yeah, and about double that on sea. Sometimes even better. Like what was her name? Darkstar the pirate. When she was carting us around in her super speedy ship, she goes like 3 times this. I do roll for weather and nasty road conditions and stuff.
I am okay with Cramy not making it into this encounter because of traveling from Marlene.
Well, I do want you to be able to play, you know.
Oh yeah, she's just a stupid, overly confident teenager, and I'm okay with her not getting thrown against goblins immediately.
I don't think the goal is to fight goblins. Ribbon, what do you think? I know you have some tactics in your brain, and I very much appreciate that.
Running.
Running, right? I think that's a
Great
pretty
plan.
good idea.
It's my tactic. I think Ribbon would regroup with Loper, and we had one other person run off, right?
Sidaris.
Yeah, our magic user Sidaris. Yeah, the
So I guess we would
player had to leave, so
we'd
did
see if we could
Sidaris.
we'd see if we could find him, and then we would return back to Robin at Robin's Nest.
Sounds good. Sounds good. So I'm gonna throw some dice here in secret. Cool. Cool. Nothing major as you guys are traipsing through the wilderness to head back to Robin's Nest. Doesn't take you more than an hour and a half to make your way back there. And you can see that there's smoke rising up out of her chimney, which means she's making it warm and homey for anyone who wants to come by and visit.
Yeah, and I think that's just what we'll do. Ribbon will walk up to the front door and look back to the remaining party, and then open the door. And then he'll kind of get like flashbacks of last time when he burst in jubilantly with a bottle of vodka, and this time completely steel-faced.
Yeah. She'll say, "Well, how was your time storming the castle?"
They're all dead.
Her face just drops. All of them?
Albeit me and 2 others. I think I count 5 or 6 dead. It's hard to keep track. I'll just walk over and sit down in maybe the forwardmost point of the bar.
Sure. She's got this very solemn look on her face, and she says, "Well, you want to talk it over eggs?"
And a drink.
Right. Maybe mimosas this morning. She goes into the back and pulls out a bottle of champagne and produces oranges and starts juicing them. She says, "So I understand if you don't want to talk about it, if you just want a friend."
What
Right now.
defense have you if the goblins came up here, Robin?
You're looking at it. I'd have to run.
Keeps looking at her.
I'd have to grab what I could and just leave. No?
Yeah, there's like a little waver in his voice. Robin, you need to understand there's probably 24 of them, and they can cast magic. And they're only an hour away. Maybe you should look into hiring some guards, or at least to look out.
Well, surely Lord Reginald's army can do something about this. That's why we pay out the ass in taxes. They're keeping us safe. Surely they'll take care of it. Right?
I don't doubt that he would do something about it, but maybe not quick enough before this place was reduced to ash. I think you're the most foremost building that we've seen from here to the goblins, albeit maybe 1 or 2 farms.
Hmm. You see her holding back tears, and she says, "Well, maybe it's time to pack it all in for the nest here. Move on to other business ventures."
Something to think about. Maybe hire a lookout, and then make your mind up about it.
Well,
How about eggs?
right. Eggs and, well, no time like the present, right? May as well start packing it in now.
He'll go to like reach for payment and the 300 silver pieces he was carrying around to with him, and then realizes that he gave them all to Tina, and they're nothing more than a burnt pile of molten silver on Tina's ashen body. Maybe like a single tear falls out of his steely visage.
My god, you're breaking my heart right now. Oh my god. Well, she goes into the back room, and you hear her cracking eggs, and you can't help but hear the sound of her sobbing in the back room at the news you've delivered.
I think it'll probably be at least up to the evening. How long does it take to get to Verico Knot from Robin's Nest?
Robin's Nest? Like if you left in the afternoon, it would be sundown when you got there. There's also a pretty lengthy line getting in and out of Verico Knot because they the guards rummage through all your shit.
I assume it's probably a 24-hour thing, though. They probably don't it's past 10, you can't enter the city.
Oh, fuck that.
Right.
No, it's a commerce center. It's it's basically like New York. It's the city that never sleeps. They would be missing out on money and
I think we'll
taxes, sales
plan to
tax.
get there. Sorry, we'll plan to get there maybe like an hour or two after sundown. Maybe we'll beat the the New York rush.
Sure,
At that point,
sure.
everyone will already have been through.
Skip rush hour. Yeah.
Yeah. If I don't know if any of the party members who are going to be joining happen to be like distinctly close, we'd spend at least half a day here. It might be a good time to add in one or two. Otherwise, I think we'll probably spend a good portion of the downtime at Vericonaut.
Right on. I think that's entirely up to the players who are playing these characters. You know, you can enter gameplay at any moment. I think there's nothing stopping you.
I'm just trying to find a proper spot to join in at, honestly.
Sure. I mean, sounds like we're headed to Vericonaut.
Yep.
The funnier thing is that Solomon's in Verico.
Oh,
All of our like silver pieces and stuff were kept at a bank somewhere
that's right.
in Verica.
Solomon made the account and we transferred the funds.
Yep, we have
Definitely,
like a group account there.
could definitely look into hiring some sort of mercenary force to march up to either back to the goblins or maybe more importantly up to Mournhold to get back our original cart.
Gotcha. You wanna get a hold of that before
That's too
the
long
6 month
at this-
gap.
Yeah, at this point it's been probably like what, half a week since we lost the cart, maybe a whole week.
Yeah, it's been a bit.
Certainly has. Let's check the calendar of happenings. I can give you a proper date here.
If it's
So
been more
it's
than like
July.
3 or 4 weeks, I can't see it still being there. Like, there's probably just too much traffic.
Well, it is underground, so it'd be more likely to be raided by the dwellers.
Yeah, some creatures that like shiny things. Although then the mercenary group could just plow through that section of the caverns and probably find bits and pieces scattered.
It was
Are there
almost
creatures
a
that
month.
don't like shiny things?
It's
A
been almost a
month?
month. Wow.
Creatures that don't like shiny things. Probably creatures that really thrive on darkness being their camouflage. And I mean that would certainly be down in the veins. But it's a fairly alien area. I don't think we have too much knowledge about the extent
one
of
of
the
us.
flora and fauna down there. Oh yeah, except for you, yeah. Then I can give you a little more context. So there are definitely creatures that rely on darkness for their camouflage. Some of them are blind. Some are like super transparent that they're nearly invisible. And when they climb into water, they are invisible because they have like transparent organs and stuff. They're like special praying mantis types. There's also a fair bit of like humanoid civilizations down there that have language and commerce and trade and concepts of value and whatnot. So there would be bandit types down there that would come across that and think this is a huge payday. But this is all luck because the veins are wide, they're vast, they're deep, they're huge, they're winding. So there are a lot of factors that go into it. Like through your travels, you guys found like one human that was lost. You found the cult. You found the cozy rockfish mound where Ribbon is from. But beyond that, we didn't run into any other humanoids down there. So I'd say it's a crapshoot. There's a lot of RNG involved in what would happen to the cart.
Okay. Sounds like we're gonna roll for it, or we already have. So taxing into Vericonaut, there was a tax the first time that was more like a shakedown, and then the second time was a tax on all silver pieces and bladed weapons.
So there's a tax on all goods and services purchased, you know, as long as they're following the law. There's some places that are like, fuck that. If my prices are too high, that's going to drive off customers. So they just kind of cheat on their taxes. So it's a 100% tax rate. and all swords and like blades and whatnot are banned. But Rebecca Storm, attorney at law, was saying that there may be some weird wiggle room for what constitutes a blade. Like, is a butter knife a blade? Is a masseter, not a masseter, is a messer a blade? What about like a really long axe head? It's such a new law. It's kind of like up in the air. I know that similar things have happened in real life with like firearms regulations. It's like, well, this isn't clearly defined, so we don't really know what's legal, and some of this is subjective.
And the entire creation of messers themselves.
Yep. Historically, that's where they came from, right?
Yep. They banned the nobles banned swords, so the peasants couldn't defend themselves. So what they did was they just made a knife by their rules, what they defined as a knife instead of a sword. So they just made really big knives.
Gotcha. So yeah, there's some extreme parallels here. Question is, do you have any contraband on you going into the town? Going into Veracruz, sorry, city.
I don't think I do. I went out fine, so. But I did grab. We didn't grab their halberd, right? I don't even know if that would be counted as a sword.
The halberd was not. The halberd was not picked up.
Tina's silver sword, 2 spell books, 3 featherfall
right.
potions, mithril chainmail, Melantha's batwing cloak, and that's about it.
How did Tina get the silver sword through in the first place?
We bribed them.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think we gave them like it was more than 100. It was more than 100 silver pieces that we bribed them with in order to get into the city or get out of the city with the swords. I remember that.
I think Ribbon probably has a good enough bushcraft to squirrel it away in a dead drop somewhere. So he'll do that and try to make a note of it.
Oh, you're gonna like bury it out in a secure location, go into Veracruz, and then when you leave, you're gonna scoop it back up. Is that what the plan is?
Literally squirrel it away.
Okay. Can you tell me about like what would go into squirreling it away? I want to understand your strategy.
Are we gonna make a map for it?
Map is a clever
Do any of you guys have map stuff? That's the question.
I do, yeah.
Hey.
Stuff on me. Yeah, I think you just make a landmark map. Old dead tree, silver looking rock that looks like Vorak's face.
Perfect. I like that. Yeah. Award yourself a fate point for that. That tickled me.
Great.
It's very cute. So you're just like burying it next to the silver rock that looks like Vorak's face.
Yes.
And you're gonna mark that on your map. Like here's the dead tree, here's the rock, kind of thing. What is your bushcraft?
3 of 6.
3 of 6. Right on. You have a map, and we're gonna head to the checkpoint now, and we can kind of fast forward through this because it looks like the checks have become a lot more lax since the last time that you guys were brought around here, and their searches are not as thorough, but the line is the same length as it has been historically. And they rifle through your goods, and looks like they are strictly looking for bladed weapons at this point. And finding none, it's basically wordless. They just like look through, open up your bags, pick through, and then just kind of motion you past. They were a lot nicer about it, but I will remind you that there is a beefy troll in the area wearing the same colors as Lord Reginald's army, with like patchwork human uniforms stitched together, and he has 3 grizzly bears in tow on a leash. And they still have the guard tower with the guy up top with a longbow. It's still a heavily armed outpost. And looks like no one wants to try their luck to try and get in or try and get out by skipping this. So you make your way to the enormous, enormous sandstone walls of Vericonat, the invincible city. And as you enter in, just absolutely bustling with activity. It seems like during the interim of the new tax rate being introduced and you guys going off for a couple of days, seems like the market has fully adapted to what's going on, and there's been a huge uptick in sales of a fancy new technology for rapidly changing prices on your goods. So you know how in real life we have those card boards where like it has a ring and then there are numbers on the holes and you can kind of like lift it up and like change different digits. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Those are all over the place. Those are like outdoors on signs. These are on market stalls. These are inside shops. Just so at a moment's notice, like if the apprentice says, "Hey, Beauregard's pens and parchment just down the street just reduced their prices to 5 silver each," you know, they can switch their price to be like 4 silver and 4 copper just on a dime. So people are really adapting to this, and anyone who has a mind for commerce knows that whoever the one is that came up with the patent for that flip board is probably making bank right now from the royalties. And that's one of the ways that some people get absolutely loaded in Vericonat. They put out a patent and then it gets adopted and there's competition back and forth, and you know people have to pay royalties to use that. So that may be something that we want to get into investment wise for the party. I know that there are some people in the party that like building things. So what are you going to do now that you're in town? Tons of people around.
I think the first thing would be to go to the bank and see if he can flawlessly access the money or if it's under some sort of legalese.
Gotcha. What are you intending to do with the money?
I wanted to see. Well, then the second step, and tying into the first, maybe even should have been part of the first, is that we should look into seeing like the mercenary guild rates around here, and then seeing if we want to, for whenever the rest of the party members join up, seeing if we want to fund an armed and supplemented expedition onto one of the 2 locations that we've already went to and died, because those are the places where we know loot is. The next thing, the third option would be going somewhere completely new, and the fourth option would be simply waiting at the end of the 6 months until the fortress is complete.
Mm-hmm. Well, I'll tell you one thing. Getting your money out is no issue. I just want to know how much you want to withdraw so that I can update our accounting.
None right now. I just would need to know, I guess, how much like a mercenary guild would cost. Mercenaries as retainers in the Lamentations of the Flame Princess document require a share. So I would be curious, like, how these mercenary guilds would operate. Because as written, if we hired 5 mercenaries, they'd get all of the loot. Which I don't really know if a mercenary guild could function that way, but our mercenary guild's a thing, you know.
Certainly. I know that once you reach certain thresholds in this game, you have to hire leadership to lead them. Like I'm trying to remember because there's like a captain and stuff. Let's see. For every 10 mercenaries hired, there must be 1 sergeant who earns double what the average mercenary does, or their morale drops by 1. Yeah.
Ooh.
There's also guards who are like stationary people. So like if you were hiring someone to watch over Robin's Nest, you would hire guards for them because they guard properties. I'm just looking at the page 49 in the Lamentations rules if you guys want to follow along.
Ribbon would probably play quite slow and do this over the course of 2 days if we're comfortable with passing 2 days, and which would offer some time if anyone's relatively close by with their traveling characters. Maybe Ribbon sees you at the bank when he's inquiring about a hefty sum of money, or maybe Ribbon sees you whenever he goes into the mercenary guilds. If any of you guys are looking for work there or happen to be already employed. I think also if there were copies of the flyers, or if he happened to see one of the flyers, he would make a halfling scrawn, half-sized mock-up of a few of them and post them in various alleyways around the town across the 2 days of downtime.
Sure. I mean, if you're making it, like this is one of those situations where like halflings know when something is made for them just strictly because they are so much physically smaller than like all the other races around. It's like a neon sign for halflings, and I can guarantee you that you'll get some attention from that. But I do want to open up the opportunity to have more party members joining, because introducing the event from that would be appropriate with the party too.
I do have a question.
Yeah.
How would they tax Chakram?
How would they tax Chakram? Are you doing like starting wealth purchases?
No. Ephraim has 2 Chakram, which are bladed in a way. They're kind of designed as throwing weapons, but he wears them sort of as decoration, and if he's not fighting, he actually has 2 ribbons attached to his. He doesn't have a middle on them, they're just a full disc. He has ribbons attached to his, so they kind of just look fashion. So I'm wondering if they'll tax him on it.
So I do want to clarify something. Taxes, the awful 100% tax rate is applied to all goods and all services. So like if you're getting a hotel room that costs you 1 silver a night, it's going to cost you 2, because one goes to the room and one goes to Lord Reginald.
Yeah, I was just wondering, since he was going to be entering Verico Knot, they look for bladed items.
Oh, you're asking, does this count as a sword? Would this be banned? Kind of thing.
Yeah, what would they do? Because that would lead to issues.
Gotcha. I believe that you going in, it largely depends on like how does your character like. So this is like a really foreign weapon. This is a weird weapon that people don't really understand. So how do you go about it? Like, do you wear it? Do you have it stored with like other pieces of art? Like, does it have a holster? What's the storage location, and how do you regard it?
So they're attached to his hips via hook. So they just kind of hook onto his hips. There's like a little metal hooks that he slides them into, and attached to the chakram are ribbons that extend downwards a bit far. They kind of flow behind him.
Okay.
So they're somewhat fashion, but also they are kind of bladed, sort of.
Gotcha. So if you were going through the checkpoint, one of the mustached guards would make a perplexed look, and he would point at it, and he would nudge the guy next to him, and he would just like shake his head, and they'd be like, "All right, go on through."
Cool. Then yeah, if Rain will be in Varric or not, he'll probably look around. He'll notice the posters.
Sweet.
Is Ribbon at a tavern or an inn specifically?
Over the course of 2 days, once or twice, I'm sure, for a hot meal and a quick drink.
And I imagine he has the inn listed on the paper?
Yeah, that would probably be the most reasonable. Otherwise, it would just say, look for a short fellow, and that's probably not a very good parameter of finding someone.
Yeah, I'm just under the assumption that when you guys are spending your money monthly on your advertisements, it just has like an updated log of where you guys are going. And because the mail system is pretty robust, it's free and it's fast in this world, it's pretty easy to get the word spread out. Like, oh, now we've moved to Mournhold, go ahead and discontinue these prints. But I guess it wouldn't be prints because we don't have a printing press, but
Not yet.
Not yet. We're not in the
Give it
Industrial
time.
Revolution yet. We're in the Renaissance.
True. They did have people that you could pay to make those things, but it wasn't
The Chinese
fast.
had the printing press by then.
Interesting historical note. Does anyone have a good name for an inn or tavern in Verconat?
Verico Knight.
Nice.
What about like Verico Knights?
Yeah, perfect.
I like that one. Go ahead and award yourself a fate point for the name. I don't.
Thank you.
I'm so used to calling you Melantha. Rest in peace.
Creamy.
Thank you, Creamy. Creamy, the pasty sorceress girl.
Pasty, greasy teenager sorceress girl.
Excellent. Okay. Yeah,
Then,
that's a good name.
Brain will be staying at that inn. How much is for a night there?
It all depends on what kind of room do you want. Like, what kind of quality do you want to the room?
True.
Because we have like rich. We have let's see, the services, lodging. There it is. Poor, average, fancy, secure, extravagant. Like you could spend anywhere between 1 silver base to over 100 silver base, but that's before the tax rate. So you're like run of the mill, like room that has a lock on the door would be 10 silver base, so 20 silver with the taxes.
Yeah, no. Ephraim will shell out 20 to have a secure room
Right
until
on.
he finds Ribbon.
Well, I don't think Ribbon is making it difficult to find himself.
True, but he is going around companies and banks and all that, or rather, the bank and the mercenary companies that he's scouting out. So there is chances for Ephraim to miss him. So he's just like, better secure myself a room, just in case I'd miss him.
You could easily find him out eating collard greens and turkey legs with brown sauce at Verico Nights one of these evenings. Ribbon strikes me as the kind of enterprising individual who can be adaptable for different situations, but doesn't ignore his gut when it comes to hunger. He's a damn halfling.
Then
So.
yeah, Ephraim will sit down at Ribbon's table and just place the notice for, I don't even know how to describe it. More adventurers, I suppose.
Treasure hunting work. The advertisement for professional help.
Yeah.
Right on.
Like wipes some of the turkey grease off of his mouth and scratches his chin. We're really down on our luck recently.
So it seems if you need more help.
Good chance you'll die.
Well, I come from the Deadlands, so I mean it's in the name.
Yeah, people from the Deadlands are kind of known for being insane. It's like, oh yeah, you could live in beautiful Marlene where we experience all 4 seasons and maybe a little bit more rain than fog than usual, or you could go live in Cat Basement and be surrounded by cats and hot dry weather and tons of beautiful artworks. Or you could go live in the Deadlands and be plagued by zombies and skeletons and swamp things and hulks and giant bats and vampires and bogeymen. And some people are like, yeah, that one. I want that one. They're usually insane or religious zealots or some combination of the two. So
Ribbon's
I'm not surprised.
Only ever been to Mournhold. Actually, only ever heard of Mournhold, Verico Not in Cat Basement. So he'll just sounds nice.
I suppose it depends on how you look at it. My entire family line comes from there, so I respect the place quite greatly. But I do not blame people for not wanting to live there.
Well, honestly, there's all sorts of very strange individuals in this city. Tall people with skin that I have never seen, some as tough as rhino hide. But you certainly are one of the more interesting individuals that I've seen, and you seem determined, and really that's all it takes. I mentioned there's a good chance that you'll die. there's also a good chance that you'll come out fabulously wealthy.
That is true. I'm mostly in it for the experience. The money is a nice part of living.
Vorak is going to burst into Verico knots, shouting and yelling, "Where's professional help? Where are those bastards that left me wandering the swamps of Bellavere?"
You see like 3 German Shepherd headed men at the bar, just like they're lapping up their whiskey out of big goblets, and they just like turn over and make like the woof, little woof noise when you come in, being boisterous.
Ribbon chuckles. All the professional help is over here.
Professional help? Greasy teenage girl with a husky voice and a lit pipe in her mouth comes over, just sliding into the booth and says a little bit too loudly, "I hear you guys want to kill Lord Reginald. Can I help?"
Fucking God.
Efrain's just gonna stare at her. She's like,
Unprompted, Cramey's going to pull out a very detailed, obviously tactical map from like a guard post of fucking Marlene and flop it down open on the table and be like, "Check out what I found."
Well, that certainly would be something to do with our time.
So you said like you are not attempting stealth in any way, right?
No.
Okay, gotcha.
She's keeping her voice like conversational but not trying to like lower it.
3 sets of German Shepherd ears are now like turned over at your conversation, but I do want to mention very clearly that they are not wearing like peace officer uniforms. They're not wearing soldier uniforms or anything, but they do have like cloth padded armor, and they have a mixture of axes and maces on them. So they are armed, but they don't bear the symbols of Lord Reginald's army or peace officers.
That's a relief.
So you said you had like a tactical map of like guard towers and stuff. What is the location of those?
Oh, it's just like this is where each guard post is. Don't forget to stop by them on your patrols. Little like 101 guard map thing that she nipped. I paid quality map prices for it from character
Gotcha.
creation.
Gotcha. Is it for like Europa? Is it for Alkebulan? Is it for one city?
Oh, it's just for Marlene, the capital itself. Where she's from. She like nipped it on the way out of town.
This is
Yeah.
intel, is what I'm
Yeah.
hearing. Oh, gotcha.
She's from Marlene. This is her character introduction to you guys. She fucking hates the taxes, and she hates the douchey, pompous way Lord Reginald walks around when she sees him in town. So she just wants him dead, and she heard you guys might be trying to do that. Hi.
I do want to mention one note that that would definitely come with a quality map of this sort. So Vorak was thinking of basically mailing a bomb to Lord Reginald, and there's a building that is marked like intake mail office. It's like a checkpoint, more or less, and you would see that.
Vorak is just going to snatch it up and shove it in his cloak. We'll be saving this for later.
Thanks, Trevor.
I'm gonna squint at you, but just keep puffing on my pipe.
Where's everybody else?
Probably half of them's blown off to the wind. Half of them's getting eaten by fungus, and maybe a few bits an animal picked up on the bottom of its paws.
So they died?
Very much.
This is terrible news. Sounds like a right bout for revenge.
Certainly one path. I also, if you recall, that very shiny cart which we had in Mournhold might be a good choice too. Don't really know what we'd get from killing the goblins other than maybe a very nice spellbook and of course revenge.
I never liked the saying revenge was best served cold.
So you intend to kill them with a fireball back?
Who needs fire? Just break down the tower.
Sieging them would probably be a best choice if we wanted to do that. Genuinely, I don't see the point in going back, but
Well, we were going there for good stuff in the first place. We didn't come back with anything, right?
Yes, I came back with less.
Might be a good opportunity to get these fellows their adventuring legs.
It might also be a good opportunity to get them reduced to cinders.
We'll take a vote.
I'm abstaining.
What do you two wetbacks want? What do you think?
Well, to say it again, I think I'd really like to see Lord Reginald's head roll.
But we don't even know what you're capable of.
I'm going to open my robe a little bit more and show the light crossbow hanging on my hip and pat it
Nice.
and say, also I can cast some stupid spells.
That's not a bow. Slams down his heavy crossbow on the table. This is a bow.
When you
Do I
when
look
you make
like I
the
can use
ruckus,
that with my noodle arms?
the fucking German Shepherd headed men are just like looking over like directly at the heavy crossbow. One of them like saunters over a little bit drunk and is like gesturing, pointing at where you stuffed the map for the Lord's estate. No words are coming out of the German Shepherd. Just pointing at the map.
You sticking your nose where it doesn't belong? You have questions about things that don't pertain to you. Do you want to walk out of here? Or do you want to crawl?
His ears kind of go down and he like takes like a half step backwards.
Now hold on. Do you want to be allies?
His like tongue comes out of his mouth and he starts panting.
Hey, the more the merrier.
He points up at the menu for the drinks and the services and whatnot, specifically pointing at the crimson red editions that include the tax rate of like ×2, ×2, ×2 on everything, and his hackles go up on his neck and he goes, "Grr."
Yeah, fuck those taxes. You should pull that map back out.
Fine. Uncrumples it and smooths it out on the table very meticulously.
He just like pounds it with his man fist and like extends a pointed shaking finger at his castle keep and just like growls and growls and growls, and his friends come up and like grab him and like pull him back a bit, and they like lick the side of his face to try and knock him to like knock
Really
it out of
liking
him,
this guy.
more or less.
Oh.
Hmm.
Hmm.
I knew I forgot something. My terrible apologies. I am Efrain Fernandez. I forgot to introduce myself.
What does Efrain look like?
Efrain, he has long brown hair. It goes to about his shoulders. It has a distinct purple tinge to it, but nothing more than that. He wears a dark green traveler's clothes, and as I described before, his chakram that set at his hips have ribbons hanging down from them. They are pink ribbons.
Nice. Nice. That's a good look. That's a good look. Well, thank you for introducing yourself to the crew. So I know that you guys put out advertisements for halflings specifically, and a halfling is going to just like brush shoulders with ribbon and say, "Oh, excuse me. As I'm sure you're aware, there was a strong wind that blew east of Marlene. Yes. Well, just wanted to say that perhaps when put under pressure, an even stronger westerly wind could blow into Marlene. Just say the word, and we'll release the bees from the bee's nest. Okay? Sound good?" Taps you on the shoulder and heads straight to the bar.
I'll give him the halfling nod of approval.
Didn't mean to interrupt. Ephraim, what were you saying?
Efrain was saying nothing. He introduced himself, and that's about it. I suppose I should tell you about my skills. My family are well experienced magic users, and therefore I myself cast magic.
Ah, pish posh. What good has magic done anybody?
I can put you to sleep.
Dare you to try.
I can make you my friend.
It doesn't sound like a threat.
All right.
What
So-
good is magic? I can put
A
you to
good use, a
sleep.
good
Oh, I
night to
bet you
rest.
could.
So I've got a spell. I think it's pretty cool.
And what is your spell?
Featherfall.
So I could throw you out the window.
No. Hear me out. We could jump off a building, make them think we're not going to make it, and we feather fall safely, and then we get away. Huh?
Would Efrain know the details of Featherfall? Just like the general details, because I know every magic spell is different from each other. Just slightly.
I'm just gonna ask, like in with your family's history and what they're known for, is that a well-known spell? It is
I
level
mean,
1.
Then yeah, probably it would be known to him.
Well, yeah, you know the basics. You don't know like how to cast it, but you
Yeah.
understand what it does.
It isn't within his skills to cast it specifically, but he knows it. If I recall
Oh.
correctly, Featherfall must be cast when you're not falling.
Not so. It's specifically made to catch you if you unexpectedly fall, and it's a 10-foot cube around the caster.
Not bad, but
Hold on, this pipe weave's hitting me pretty hard. I'm gonna take like a 2-minute nap, and Creighton's just gonna like put her pipe under the table in her hand, lay her face down on the table, and I'll BRB for a minute.
Okay.
A perfect time.
Efrain's just gonna look at this fellow magic user and just be like, "What the hell?"
Melantha, the spirit of, would you like Cramey to have the Batwing cloak? Okay. When they said they were stepping away, they definitely meant it.
Yeah.
Ribbon would take the Batwing cloak and maybe just lay it as a cover over Cramey. so that when they wake up, they can have that item.
Absolutely. Yeah. I'll tell Cramy whether or not it's magical, because magic users and clerics and elves can detect magic essentially by touching things. Unless a spell has been cast on them to shroud the magic. And also, just to like do a full disclosure here, there's a first level spell called Magic Aura. Let's say you have a dagger and you cast Magic Aura on it. It will detect as magic, even though it's not. But you can also like shroud it. Yeah. It's cool stuff. I like that. But I'll let Cramy know.
Vorak, would that lead me to believe that your most the best suggestion for waiting until the stronghold's finished would be to go deal with the current leadership in some of the kingdoms?
Oh, absolutely. I've got an idea, and we're gonna make it work.
I will follow your lead. I have no experience in kingdoms. I come from a town.
Ribbon smiles.
You know what's frustrating?
Hmm?
Featherfall is specifically affects the weight of something up to a certain limit, but none of our gear or anything like that has weights specified on it.
That is strange.
Is that really how it's written?
That should
Yes.
not
I
be how
think
it's
so,
written.
yeah. Hold on.
Up to 400 pounds for the first level.
Yeah.
But how much does plate mail weigh? How much does it weigh?
Not 400 pounds.
Well, if we go
Jesus.
by historical knowledge, it weighs generally like 60 pounds.
It's
Right,
200
plus-
pounds plus 200 pounds per level of the caster.
Right.
I think you'd be fine with 400, like even with a backpack full of things and a weapon and plate armor.
I think 400
I'm
pounds
awake.
would be all of our encumbered slots.
I mean, I'm a dwarf. I can carry a lot of shit.
Yeah, your first
That's
encumbrance
fair.
level is completely nulled.
I've
Yeah.
agreed.
She's gonna sit up, flapping her hand like she's burned her thumb and her pipe's in the other hand. I'm awake.
So Cramy, you have a
Featherfall's good.
batwing cloak. You have a batwing cloak draped over you that came from the dear departed Melantha. And because you're a magic user, you would know whether or not it was magic. This does not detect as magic. However, I'm going to tell you what I told the rest of the party. There's a spell called Magic Aura that can be used to make mundane objects appear magical to the touch. And there is another spell, I don't know what it's called, but you can shroud the magic aura of an object. But at this moment, the Batwing Cloak does not detect as magic. But it's been lovingly placed upon you by Ribbon.
Well, this thing looks wicked sweet, and I'm gonna put it on under my backpack, and then put my backpack back on over it.
Figured it was kind of your style.
Well, we are. Where's the first place are we planning to go? That's the real question.
Does it smell a little burnt, or is that just me?
I tried to get most of the ash off. Sorry.
Efrain's just gonna look over our Ribbon just to try and judge his facial features.
You know, that is a good question. Like, where are we headed?
Whether we want to get revenge and maybe get some loot, or do we want to delve back into the caverns and get our shit back and look for more adamantine, or do we want to seed our plot for?
I would suggest the stuff and then seed our plot. Sorry, the stuff in Mournhold. There were a lot of very shiny swords and wands down there, if I recall right.
Well, that sounds like the sort of thing we could, arm some people with.
Sorry, but if you left it there, I'm going to assume people died, because you wouldn't just leave it there.
Like I said, the first, what was the second sentence I said to you? Do you remember that?
Yeah, I know. I was just pointing out the fact that it could be infinitely more dangerous if a large group were to die instead of 1 or 2, and seeing as you left an entire grouping of items alone, I'm going under the assumption that 3 people died.
So Awaken, thank you very much for the sub.
Not really a conversation Ribbon wants to have. So Vorak, does that sound like a plan then?
Works for me. So we need lots of fire, stuff for light, a new cart, and yeah, pack lightly.
We do have another cart. Like we've been carrying it around, and we have like draft horses, war horses, and stuff. I was under the assumption that we were carting that around when Ribbon was on his like solo adventure at the beginning of this session. So we do have a cart.
Atlan the warhorse still lives.
Are these
Right.
dogs willing to help us?
You
We-
want to ask him?
Hey, can you guys understand me?
Tongue out of the mouth. From one of the guys that like held back their other friend. These guys look extremely similar.
I'm going to go with yes. That being said, how inclined are you to stay in Varric or not, or are you the adventuring type?
Kind of like
I
blank
should stop
stares and
asking
blinking.
open-ended questions. Maybe do you want to come with us on an adventure?
You get a bark and a tongue hanging out of the mouth.
There is much money involved, and I can promise you, for your whole group, at least one magical sword.
Hey, they'll be promised in my
they
goods.
They look between each other, and one of them like pulls out a mace and just kind of like jiggles the mace around, and then like sticks the mace back.
I can promise you something magical.
How about just to be
one of them
rewarded?
whines? One of them whines, and like tail goes between legs at the mention of magic.
Something very shiny and in the shape of a coin.
One of them is just like eyeballing the remainder of the food on your plate.
And a lot of food.
And they all just like look at each other and like tails start wagging. They're just like so down, like, oh my god, there's food involved. Sign me up, boss.
Do they look like capable? Like these aren't like 16-year-olds or anything. They're like, built individuals.
I would say they're definitely more built than your greasy wizard. That's with you. They look young and spry. They look a little young and dumb. More muscle mass than normal.
That's
I'd say
what we need.
It's almost like a level 0 fighter is how I would describe them.
Okay, lots of food and maybe some coin.
Well, if we're paying them in food, I can offer up some of my iron rations, if need be.
I think we have plenty of silver pieces to pay for pretty good food for all of us.
Promise them a feast at the end and we'll be all right.
Oh, that's a good idea.
That is a good idea.
Sweet. As you guys are discussing, the halfling that went up to the bar has a goblet in his hand. It's difficult to tell what kind of alcohol's in it. It looks kind of like a yellowish amber color, and they have a clear goblet as well, and sets it in front of Ribbon, and the smell of mead fills your nose, and he just whispers, "The bees are ready, awaiting your command." And just fucking walks out with the goblet in his hand.
It's badass.
And the bartender, who's just a human with a black goatee, just like runs out after him, and, like snatches up the goblet, and like walks back in.
Can I like run back and grab him quick?
Oh, of course.
And I'm gonna tell him just a quick calculation on how long it would take us. Can we like set a siege date like 5 days from now? Like release them at 2 p.m. on Saturday.
If that's what you wish. I mean, we could certainly let's do something like that. But I do want to remind you that you guys have a fort under construction, and I know that we wanted to knock out a couple of things before our 6-month gap. And if
Yeah,
you
I was
want
gonna.
to get involved with a siege, you know.
Yeah. So I did plan on. I don't. I assume he's trying to create a distraction for us. It's just my general interpretation.
I mean, you could most certainly have a chat with him. He's just to set the scene. He's about 2 steps out of the bar, and he's not drunk. And there's tons of people and noise around, folks shouting, horses, carts, lots of city noise, wild dogs
Okay.
running around, scrounging for
I'm
food.
I'm interested. Let's talk. And I like pull him over. Halflings have a really good way of kind of blending into a crowd or blending under a crowd. So I'll just like go next to another group of people with him.
Right on, right on. He says, "All right, lay it on me."
We have lots of things to do, but what you're suggesting is extremely interesting. What do you get out of it?
Well, my people are free. I'd personally like to go back to smoking my meats in my house, you know, and not having to pay out the fucking ass to this Lord Reginald who doesn't offer us any safety, and frankly, his men are still stationed outside of Honey Hill, and I'd like it to go back to its former glory. And I know that you are friends of the rebellion, so how about we nip this one in the bud? He's a pest.
I hear you. Local business owners get no respect from Lord Reginald.
So all I'm saying is we're self-sustainable. We have gardens absolutely lush with food and livestock. We can out-survive these humans. They're not too bright. Okay?
Yes.
We're just looking for a good sign to come out with our fangs out. Understand?
I definitely understand. What we want is just the death of the ruler. But it's already been explained to us, given the current state of the politics, that maybe they'll just be replaced by someone who's just as worst, or maybe even worse.
He reaches into his pocket and produces a piece of jerky that smells like a little dusty. And he bites into it and he says, "Have any of you even seen Lord Reginald? I've never seen him. Anyone know what he looks like?"
Yeah, I've seen him. He looks
Okay.
ugly. He looks pompous.
How do you know? I don't think he's
I'm
real.
from the capital where he is?
Oh, my condolences.
Like I said, he has no respect for local business owners, and I'm going to see him dead about it.
See, I've heard the man is larger than life, and it's hard to discern fact from fiction, frankly. I heard whenever he wakes up, he lets out a fart that fumigates the entire city. Whenever he goes out, people
No, that's
clutch
true.
their noses in response. Is this true? It sounds like something a child would come up with.
I mean, if you're not clutching your nose, you're spitting behind his back.
What you're suggesting would be a fantastic, a wonderful distraction. While we kill him.
How do you kill the head of a snake? You have the whole body to contend with. His snake stretches all throughout Europa and Alke-Boulon. At this point, I fear the body may protect the head.
This has been a very interesting conversation. I think we can continue it sometime further in the future whenever we have our personal affairs in order. I'll come to your village if I need to speak to you again.
Right. Sounds great. And you know, if you were to, say, raid a camp, find a map of the troop movements, and you were to mail it to Honey Hill via, I don't know, pigeon, falcon, eagle, something that flies. His men are terrible archers. They're very bad at intercepting our communique. If you were to send that out, we would pay you handsomely for it. Any military intel certainly helps our cause.
Understood.
Yeah, I'll definitely keep that in mind.
Well, thank you. We're very easy to get a hold of, just a letter away. So, keep your chin up, keep doing what you're doing, and just know that Honey Hill considers professional help allies at this point in time, and we do not wish to sour this relationship. So, just one thing to get you moving. I'd like to give you a very special vial of stew. Be sure to use it in a very critical moment, okay? And he hands you over a vial that has like a couple chunks of potato in it. It looks like a very normal brown stew with tons and tons of spices in it. Basically just one swallow of soup. It's not warm.
Will it keep?
As long as you keep the cork on it.
Understood.
Hmm.
With that being said, I'm going to do what I can to enjoy my time in town and not go broke in the process. All right?
Right.
Farewell, friend.
The halfling points at some dogs across the street that look like they're rifling around in some discarded clamshells and says, "Well, what do you make of that?"
I have no idea what to make of that.
All that you see of him are his coattails as he disappears into a crowd.
That's the oldest trick in the book.
Look over there. You're right, it is the oldest trick in the book.
Look, a distraction.
Good thing Efrain is the most average person on the planet. Nearly the most average.
Right. So it sounds like our plan is to go back under Mournhold and try and recover our cart of goods there. From that, what do we plan on doing? Are we going to send out messages, or what do we want to do? Do we want to get back into Mournhold and work from there and decide what we do after?
Honestly, and maybe you can explain this to me, I'm not disagreeing. I don't see the point in waiting until the keep's done.
The longer stuff sits, the more likely it is to be gone. So having magical items just sitting in a big giant cavern underneath a giant city on stilts in the air.
Totally and absolutely, and that's what I'm saying. I think we made the same point. What I'm saying is I don't see the point in waiting to do anything until the keep's done. Maybe I said that wrong. We should do things now, not wait until it's done.
I vote, I'll bring it up, that our major attack may want to wait until we have our keep done, as far as against Lord Reginald, giving us time to build up and amass forces, work our dealings, and get basically all of the townships and everything in the cities behind us, so that when we do overthrow Reginald, if we succeed, it's not just going to collapse and his troops turn around and turn on all the cities.
Absolutely. I think prior to that, though, we should insert ourselves a little into some of his more personal doings so that we can collect intel to aid us in the siege.
Fair enough. So let's get Mournhold squared away. Let's get our cart, work
Yes.
any intel we can from there. Sound like a plan, crew?
Well, like I said, I'm fine with whatever.
Well, at your service.
Come on, dog scenarios.
Doesn't get his head rolling tomorrow, but I guess it's a step in the right direction. Fine.
Well, I wouldn't know much about sieging and killing a king, but it's like anything, it'll take a lot of time. They are quite guarded. If I recall correctly,
Just
there is
walk in.
from my homeland, there is a castle, Castle Belladonna. Well, it's known for its vampires. There was a group that tried to raid it, some Heshurians, I believe. They were felled quite quickly, and if I recall the story, they were also turned into vampires, or ghouls under their command. So, planning is an important part of the process.
All right. So it sounds like we're off to Mournhold.
Per
Seems like-
estimation, and with best conditions on the road, it'll take 5 days. And I mean, I'm just gonna tell you the route that I figured, and let me know if you want to make any changes to it. I was thinking you guys leave Vericonat and you travel extra late and stop near Bellavere. I mean, last you guys stopped in Bellavere, the whole place was abandoned because of some like slimy, nasty, eldritch horror that scared out the denizens there. So, like a long night of travel to near Bellavere, and then one day over to Stream Bridges, stay the night at Stream Bridges, one day over to Cat Basement, stay the day at Cat Basement, one day to get to the mountains, stop there, one day to Mournhold. That's like best conditions possible. I mean, there are far more creative methods to get where you're going. Like you could take a water travel and you could go upstream. That's possible. We could go upstream where these rivers meet, and then, you know, lots of different ways we could go about this. You could even like hop on a galleon and go all the way around the east coast of Alkebulan, around the southern cape, all the way around, and like we have so many different ways that we can go around. I would just want to know what's clever. What do you guys think?
The real question is the cost of travel, because if we take the boat route, how much does that cost? And if we travel via our carriage, do we have enough food?
We've got cities we can stop in all along the way. We also have lots of iron rations, or at least we did.
Yeah.
We
If we
did.
take the boat route, that
We
could be
still do.
time for the fortress to be built, right?
Right. But generally speaking, we want to get, well, the longer we wait to get to Mournhold to recover the cart, the more likely that there's less in it.
Right.
That is true. So the real question is, how fast is a boat in comparison to us traveling there via carriage?
Looking at the routes, I mean, we might be able to make it to Cat Basement in 2 days instead of 3, having to go upstream.
What kind of route are you thinking? I'll like draw one so we can. Hold on. Why is it's not showing me the toolbar? There it is.
Ship for passage is 2 silver, and if we go by tax, that's like what, 4?
Yep.
So for 1 day of passage,
Here's the one that I was proposing. To here, and then to here, to like here, and then to there. It'd be like 5 with really, really good good luck on the
rolls,
weather.
yeah. Is it 1 day between Steam Bridges and Turtle Bay?
It'd be a long day, but yeah.
Okay,
And
I was
this
just
is
wondering because
Bellavere is in a nasty swamp, and swamps can be very temperamental with their weather.
I remember that. So
We
I was
could
like,
do
how do we get
Turtle
around?
Bay to Steam Bridges. That does look like it might be a faster route.
Yeah,
If
you
it's
guys
4
could,
per person, we could still afford it. So yeah.
if you guys could find like water travel, but keep in mind, like Turtle Bay and Tulu are locked in like an endless war right now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that is true.
Be like you know, in the middle of like the war in the Middle East, being like, hey, people in Afghanistan, could I get a ride?
Mm-hmm.
Be like going to Baghdad and being like, hey, I am looking for a train ticket to go to Turkey.
Yeah, it is an issue. Which means we'll probably have to cut through the swamp, and the swamp wasn't friendly to us last time, but it was still nice.
There are roads, but the conditions in the weather-wise would be rough, potentially.
I think we'll have no problem walking.
Definitely
could we bring
cheaper.
a horse through the swamp on the roads?
What was that?
Yeah, we did run into some delays going through the swamp, and we had to route around through some of the flooded wetlands.
How
It's
much are horses? Should we pay for horses?
We have
we have 3.
Yeah, we have
And
three.
Was that already
And the
factored
cart.
into our 5 days travel estimate?
I mean, heck, we could probably double up with the halfling on one of the horses. I don't think we would
And we
need
have
to get any
40
extras.
pounds.
True. We have 2 basic horses and 1 war horse. So war horses are fucking massive, by the way. Just in case you didn't realize they're big, so they could easily hold 2 people normally.
So if you guys are getting on your horses, I mean, if everyone has a horse, that certainly speeds up our travel a bit. So
A
if,
basic riding horse is 100, so
we
If-
could easily afford it.
Don't we have like 50,000 silver?
Are you
Something
asking about
kind of-
like our overall silver?
Yeah, what is our treasury?
what is
at?
our current money? Yeah.
In the bank, we have 53,149, and any other money is held on individuals. We banked every single cent that we had.
Okay, so we should probably just spend extra whatever 300 silver pieces to make sure we get to our destination expeditiously.
Vorak's been walking around with 2,200 silver on him for a while.
Yeah, Melantha still had her silver on her. Wasn't here for the banking session.
So our adventuring company is freaking rich. Like we have
Yeah,
a
that is-
lot of money. Money is definitely no object in this campaign.
So
For
let's
now.
That does mean that there is more silver at the Goblin Tower place for other people's considerations.
Also, wizards
More-
are generally kind of wealthy because they need the money to craft their potions and write their scrolls and make their staffs and everything. And there were
If I-
potions there. You know, there's
So-
certainly treasure.
Yeah.
So we could go hit the tower and then make our way to Mournhold. If you guys want to do that.
I mean, if Frank can cast sleep over the goblins and see if it knocks them out. So that's a possibility.
And I'm really hard to hit.
Are you really easy to fireball?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
I
what
don't
I'm
know. Does
really
a
afraid of.
9 does a 9 make me easy to hit?
You take half damage, but half damage from a very powerful caster is still very, very strong. And also, it's an AoE, and your movement speed is 10 feet per round unless you run.
That's why I kind of wanted to hit it with the sleep early.
You guys go ahead, but Ribbon is not going back to the goblins. I mean, he'll sit on the edge of camp or something, but
Yeah.
that's a
Big risk.
death sentence.
Efrain knows danger very well, and he knows the risk of going places, so...
Why I like sandbox campaigns, because it's like you guys have a million different options. We could go in different directions. Like you could just say, you know, we're just going to stay in Vericonaut, and we total up the rent or the hotel rooms that it would cost to stay there for 6 months, and then we move on. You know, things happen in the world. It becomes winter. Whatever you guys want to do. If
After
you
we
guys
kill
want
Lord
to
Reginald, the better.
If you guys want to risk the goblins, we can do that. If you guys want to go to Mournhold, we can do that. I'm glad we're having these discussions about plans. How many can Daggeth fit in her face? Fit what in her face? I don't know what you mean, Soulweave. I should move our little token into the city. That's where we are.
What's the exact tax calculation?
100%. Everything is double.
Everything is double now? Lovely. We have 2 riding horses, 1 war horse. War horses, nice. That means a war horse is 1,000. Yeah.
To buy one?
Yeah.
Jeez.
Atlan is an expensive little guy.
I
He's
mean,
not little.
You already paid him off, you know?
Yeah, I
We got
didn't even
one.
pay him.
Yeah.
Didn't pay. Didn't
So-
pay for Atlan.
All right, are we buying 2 horses then and heading off to Mournhold?
400 for 2 horses. I think it was. Yeah,
3
because 200
horses right
each.
now.
Yeah, 3 horses. We need 2 more is pretty nice. We could probably attach them further along onto the cart. Just have a 4-horse drawn cart if we need to. I mean, we have enough money to shell out for 2 extra horses.
I've literally got that in pocket change. So
Yeah. Before I can pay for 2 horses out of pocket. Heck, he can pay for. You had 22?
yeah, 2,200 silver.
A lot of encumbrance
You can
worth
pay
of
for
silver.
2 war horses.
That's 22 boxes worth of encumbrance.
Yes, I understand. Unless I had it converted to gold,
Yeah. I
which
feel
I
like
mean,
at some point you did.
yeah, when we were actively in Cat Basement the last time before we left to the swamp.
Bellevier.
Yeah. Because we had this discussion about carrying too much coinage.
That
Mhm.
we certainly did. Well, then yeah, 400 silver for 2 horses. Basically nothing, so why not?
Okay, here's 4 gold.
1 gold is 50 silver pieces. Okay.
Is it 50 or 100? So then it'd be 8 gold coins if it's 50.
Let me just go check.
Oh
the
yeah, you're right.
currency.
It is 50 to equal 1 silver piece.
50 silver to 1, yeah.
So it'd be 8 gold coins.
Yep. And that comes straight from you, so no
Yeah.
need to document that. So we got our horses, and you guys want to spend the night here in Vericonat? Start off early, or do you wanna head out today? The evening right now.
Sooner the better, right?
Sooner the better. Well, the better question would be what time about would we be reaching
Bellevier.
Elevere? Do we want to travel through the swamps at night, or would you rather head out at first light?
If we head to Bellevier and we hit nightfall early, we can easily stay at Robin's Nest.
Or we could head to Robin's Nest because that's only a couple hours outside of Ericonot,
Yeah.
and then from there leave and try and make it all the way to Stream Bridges before dark if we're on horse.
Look.
Does that work for everybody?
Sounds good to me.
If you have a very long day of travel, you would get to Belvier within 24 hours.
1 day travel.
I feel like there's a section here about like exhaustion, and you can like go extra far.
Yeah. Sleep
Is it-
deprivation.
Is that it?
It might be it. I'm looking. A character must sleep 4 hours. It's not about long travel, but it is the issues that come with not sleeping, so it kind of works.
That sounds applicable in this situation, definitely. Okay. So if we push it extra far, then you would suffer a -1 penalty to all your rolls. And then if we spent a day to rest it off. Here, I have an idea. I'll show you how far you guys can make it. Let me roll a weather roll, and we'll move this along. Okay. So what my dice say is that you guys can make it easily to the banks here in 1 day. You don't have to push it extra hard. There's no issues with that. But if you hop into the swamps, it's going to be late, and you run the risk of things getting worse. So I want to ask how you feel about your first day of travel.
I say we stop at Robin's and then wait for the early morning and move out then.
This sounds like a
That
good
does
idea.
sound safer.
Moving through the swamp at day is much nicer than at night.
What page is all the equipment and goods and services on? Here it is.
Equipment list.
So you guys are in a secure city, so that's 20 silver each. There's 5 of us? 5 of us, right?
1, 2, 3, 4.
There's 4 adventures today?
4 adventurers.
5 in our chat. That's why. Okay. So 4 times 40 because it's 2 days is... There's no way I'm doing my math right. Hold on. Okay, 320 silver off of the banked fund. So that is 52. There we go. So that's how much money we have right now. Do you guys want to make any withdrawals while we're in a civilized area? This place does have a bank, and not every city has a bank. Banks are kind of like for rich people. Not a lot of people use those, and I know that you guys don't have like wealthy backgrounds, so it wouldn't be immediately apparent to you which cities had banks.
I want to withdraw enough silver from the group fund to be exactly below the equipment threshold.
So
99 silver.
77 silver, and I'm gonna put my 65 copper into there, just to get rid of it.
Did you say 77?
Yeah, that's gonna put me at 98 silver.
Okay. Does anyone else want to make withdrawals?
I'll take out 100 silver pieces if that's okay.
Okay.
Just so that I get the complimentary bank bag that they give out with 100 silver pieces.
Okay.
Oh, smart.
To those withdrawing, make sure that you indicate that on your character sheet. Does anyone else want to make a withdrawal? It's open to the party.
just looking at something and wondering. How much does it cost to do that? I was just looking at how much it costs to transfer a spell from one spellbook to another with read magic. I think it's 10 per day.
I see.
10 per day, and we could do that on travel because we're in a carriage. So I was thinking, if Efrain has enough for each spell in his list and each spell in Gramy's list, we could copy our spells to each other.
I'm pretty sure that you have to be like undisturbed and you have to be at rest to do spell copying.
That's what I'm trying to
Just
read
gonna
about.
check. Okay, if you're checking it, I'll leave it to you. So
I might get it wrong, so you might want to check it yourself.
Is that all the withdrawing that we want to do?
I think it is.
Yep. As we're traveling out of the city, Ruben would like to have a brief conversation with the dogs. Alternatively, I wanted to mention, if you guys don't feel like adventuring at a very far distance, there is a local shopkeeper, which is probably looking for some mercenary work, who makes a very, very mean meal. Would that be something that you guys would be more interested in?
They all are drooling and panting and looking back and forth at each other like, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god, this is huge.
We'll have to talk to Robin and see if she's looking for hire then.
This is great. This is great. Okay, so we want to make a brief stop at Robin's Nest, is what I'm hearing.
Yes.
So that
We were going to stop there anyways to rest
We were
there
spending the night.
and then leave early to Bellavere.
Lovely. Okay. Yeah, I think that sounds like a dandy plan. If we check out our map, we would be making half of this distance at the beginning, and we would stop by Robin's Nest, which is right there. Okay. So I took off the cost of our rooms throughout. Oh yeah, we got to pay for meals too.
Did we?
Did you guys eat rations or did you buy meals in town? That's the question.
Did we ever intend on staying
meal.
in town for overnight?
Ribbon did.
Ask
Then-
the halfling if he bought a very nice meal or not.
Okay, true.
Absolutely.
True. All right, so 2 days of meals.
Efrain ate his ration. One of them.
Okay, some of your own. Got it. Understood. So you had a fancy meal twice, so that is 2 silver because of the tax rate times 2, 4. So I need to reduce 4 on our breakdown here. There you go. Okie dokes. So now is the time to venture onwards, and you guys have your German Shepherd guardsman in tow. And does anyone have any contraband on them? Anyone have a blade?
I've got my axe.
By
Daggers,
earlier
swords,
standards?
rapiers.
By earlier standards, no.
No contraband.
Cool. I know you had the chakram.
Yeah.
Cool. And I'm assuming you're just doing the same thing that you did before. That seems very logical.
That's how he naturally wears them.
Perfect. So you guys make it to the checkpoint, and they're just trying to rush people through. They do a very quick, cursory search of your goods, and they finger you through. And you guys make it over to Robin's Nest, no problem. And upon entering her nice cozy place, you see that all the chairs are stacked and nested on each other, and she's been doing everything that she can to pack up right now. She has goods in crates. She has a cart outside that she didn't have before, and she's not ready to leave just yet. For those who are more observant, because her horses don't have their bits and bridles and halters and everything ready to go. So she's not ready to leave right now, but she is certainly preparing to do so. And I just want to know, like, how does this interaction go with you guys offering these German Shepherds as protection?
Hey, Robin, looks like you decided to go somewhere safer.
Yeah, it seemed like the right thing to do. You got me a bit on the cautious side. I don't think there's any harm in being cautious.
Do you have a place that you've already planned on setting up elsewhere?
think I'll just figure it out as I go. Frankly.
Well, if you happen to find somewhere safer, we did promise these 3 pups that you make a mean, warm meal, and I think that they probably would be more than happy to act as guards for wherever you decide to set up your business, or if you decide to stay here.
Yes,
So
of
long as
course.
you
No,
put
this
them
is
up and-
excellent news. Absolutely capital news. I'm sure Brutus is going to be absolutely tickled that he has someone to play with now. Brutus! Brutus! And barging into the room is an enormous Saint Bernard dog. He's got some age to him and a big thick slobber on both corners of his mouth, and just starts like running and jumping around and like putting his paws up onto the guardsmen that came in, and they're just prancing around and having a dandy time, sniffing each other and getting to know each other in Robin's Nest, the inn.
If you wouldn't mind, we need to stay here for one night. If you're not immediately leaving.
Absolutely. I'm afraid, the old coffer isn't as fat as it used to be. I'm gonna have to charge you the standard rate. Sorry.
Totally understandable.
Yeah. I'm sure you understand. I'm sure you would do the same thing. Everyone's poor nowadays. It's just kind of how it goes with this new money. So
I do have one thing to mention. As I have learned from recently joining professional help, we are actually building a fortress up near Cat Basement. So if you do plan on leaving here, that is a place you may go.
Oh, like a personal cook.
If she,
It-
yeah,
We'd
if
be
she wants to
perfectly-
manage the inn,
Maybe we could run Robin's Nest out of our fortress, and any people traveling through could stay for a night.
I love how you guys are just traipsing through the world, like making all sorts of friends, and any friend that you make, you're just like, come live with us. You did it with Trissy, you did it with McCarthy. Now you're doing it with Robin.
Or
Like
commune.
all the NPCs that you guys like, you're like, come join us. I love it. You're really like taking this adventuring company thing to its full extent, and I think that's beautiful, because when we did the very first session of Dido as like a test of LOTFP, it was just like, oh yeah, we're a ragtag group of treasure hunters and that's it. And now it's like we have a company, we have people on payroll, we're buying land. I love it. I just think it's a beautiful thing you guys are doing.
And once we get our fortress set up, I imagine we'd be happy to pay you for your services there.
She says, "Oh, absolutely tickled at the possibility of such. I'm afraid I don't speak the language out there. Just a common girl myself. Me accents are all right, but the dwarfen language, I not too familiar. I know a few words here and there. That it seems like that'd be a bit of an obstacle to me, and the cost of going all the way out there and hopping on a ferry or navigating through the swamps surrounding Bellevue just sounds a bit out of the way, right? Verico not. Maybe a better call. I know rent is awfully expensive. Maybe I could try settling in the Ruby district.
Vorak just drops 5 gold on the counter. We'll make it worth your while.
Okay. Free room and board. Twist my arm.
Worry not, you do not have to leave immediately. If I recall correctly, we're planning it to be built around 6 months' time, so...
6 months, 6 months. Maybe I could set up shop in Streambridges. Hang out with the poets and the engineers and the scientists.
I'm sure you can offer them many great refreshments there that they surely need.
I do need few more days to pack things up. Maybe I could take these dog lads to Stream Bridges. Maybe. I'm sorry, a bit of a. I'm a bit of a little willow tree, and now I'm being uprooted and need to be transplanted elsewhere. And I'd like to find a nice place next to a beautiful river. Spread me roots down there. I don't know. I'm sorry. It's just all a bit much, all at once.
That is perfectly understandable.
Right.
I mean, I do recall that we are making the fortress near the water, not too far
Right.
from it.
Well, that's great.
Lovely ocean view.
You
I
know
do
where
love
to
the
find us.
sea, the sea breeze. I love how it feels on me eyes, as strange as it sounds. But yeah, you can stay here. I mean, that's a very generous donation to the coffers of Robin's Nest. Appreciate it greatly. Is there anything I can do for you? We got the foods. We got about half the drinks unpacked right now. Maybe we can crack into that fine vodka you brought last time.
Oh, I think we drank every drop of that, but maybe some,
did we?
some brandy. Oh yeah, it was a
I'm
very
sure I
good
can
one.
find something around. Sorry for the false hope, Ribbon. Let me say, very happy we only have one halfling in the crew. I know you'd eat me out of house and home. I'd have to go on a grocery shop. I would. Quick little shop trip.
These dogmen might give you a run for your money.
Um,
Make sure to put them to work, and maybe they can help you move.
give me a lot to think about. You have.
Well, if you're offering drinks, do you happen to have a bit of brandy?
Oh yes, absolutely, absolutely. And she doesn't dig too long. She has her alcohols nice and organized, even in her packed away stuff. But this is one of the bottles she had packed. She busts it out, and just as a note to you, if you wanted to transcribe spells, I think that now would be a good time because you're at rest, and you're just kind of taking a load off right now.
Remy, you also happen to be a magic user, yes? A friend's gonna pull out a spell book. It looks like a grimoire. It is like a family grimoire looking thing. It looks fancy despite just being a book. Well, I have some spells here, and we can cross-reference them, and you can copy them down, and I can copy yours down, and we'll be better off from it. What did you say?
Yeah, that sounds really good. Doesn't that take like her eyes are gonna get kind of fuzzy for a second, and then she's gonna say like 3 days though?
For all of our spells, I suppose we could do one for this night. Just pick out the one you prefer most. I have Charm Person, Shield, and Sleep. Out of all of them, I think Shield's the best one.
Yeah,
Does-
shield sounds really good. I've got uh Featherfall and Mending and Comprehend Languages.
Comprehend languages.
Yeah,
Ooh.
and that's a reversible.
Does Tina plan on playing another spellcaster?
Hidey, have you
All right,
decided
Tina's
on your class?
Fighter.
She's a fighter.
Tina's
Yep,
spell
so
books, yeah.
Ribbon will walk over and boom, boom. You guys look like the type to use these two spell books.
Yeah,
Oh.
one of the spell books is almost like a cutesy journal full of little comics about anthropomorphic animals getting into predicaments. Like there's a meerkat who needs to get their chimney swept, and they hire a ferret, and the ferret climbs from the top of the flue all the way down and comes out just like covered in soot, and they exchange money. And the ferret
I
walks
think
out of
there
the
was
house, tracking soot everywhere.
There's like a fireball spell on page like 20 or something, if I remember.
Yep, that's right. I remember that comic was like a bunch of woodland creatures were sitting around the fire, and there was a hedgehog that had marshmallows like stuck to their quills, and the fox had a cloak on and like cast this big wicked spell, and her eyes went black and ethereal, and just like a huge explosion at the campfire. But they were able to have burnt marshmallows. That was the scribing of Fireball. Requires read magic to read it, and then Tina transcribed it. I remember that. That was a fun one. Fun session.
Read magic seems to be only needed for scrolls. All spellbooks are written such that only the elf or magic user who owns the book. So you need it for the spellbooks too.
We also need read magic to identify if an item is magic.
Yeah. But once we cast read magic, we will be able to read the magic of 1d4 items.
I need to step away for about 30 minutes, so maybe Ribbon suggests for Robin's as a celebration for her moving away, and he encouraging people to drinks way too much himself, so he'll be passed out for about 30 minutes. I'll be right back.
For sure.
Well, there's Fireball in this book.
Mm-hmm.
I do not think I'm of the level or the skill to cast Fireball, but that isn't.
Efrain, what level are you?
Efrain is level 1.
Oh, you should be higher level than that. Aren't we starting at level?
No.
Oh no, this is your first. Did you not get enough to start at level 2?
No, if I played Solomon that time around, I would have been level 2 if I recall correctly.
Oddvar was new. Oddvar was a fresh spawn. Started at level 1, and then 1 minus 1 is 0, so level 1.
Bungus.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Fireball requires second level slots to cast, which makes it only accessible level 3 characters and above.
Yeah.
Initially, I was like, oh yeah, Fireball should be level 1, and we'll just make it weak and make it scale. And then I realized, holy shit, this spell is really fucking strong.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous.
I do not know any other spells in that spell book, and you had Comprehend Language and... what was it else?
Featherfall? Mending?
You know, Sidaris had Unseen
Magic
Servant
Aura.
and Magic Missile.
Ooh.
And I know that
Magic
Sidaris would
Aura
be down to
as
share.
well.
Oh, you know Magic Aura, sweet.
Yeah, and that is the reversible, where you can hide aura and disguise magical objects as non-magical.
Yeah, Obscure Aura is the opposite.
It does note that both clerics and magic users have to specify at the start of the day which spell they are preparing, the normal or the reversed.
Mm-hmm.
So it sounds like we want to transcribe some spells. This may take a couple of days, and I want to know. You guys could, do this at the same time. I want to know what spells you're trying to do, and I'll ask you some stats and stuff. I'll roll some dice. How this works, if you haven't done this before, is you guys tell me how many days you're willing to spend on it, and you pay 50 silver per day. Sorry, not 50. 10.
10 for spellbook to spellbook.
10 per day. I roll a die. You guys don't know the result of my die, but if you spend equal to or greater than the amount of days determined by my roll, which is modified by working in a library or not, and it's modified by your intelligence. If it's equal to or greater than the amount of time that I roll, you get the spell. If it is less than what you guys wagered, then you fail. You spend the money. You don't get the spell yet. That's how it works.
I'm only willing to spend 1 day on this spell transcribing. So
I was willing to spend 2 days. Are we only staying for the one, though?
I think that's up to the party. You guys have 3 people. You guys can vote. I know Ribbon is away for now, and he would abstain on the vote. So you guys do have a majority if you put it to a vote.
Well, the thing is, we planned on getting Mournhold quite quickly. Leave early, that thing, get there, get the items, get the hell out.
We could do the one day.
I mean, we will still have like a 6-month buffer to copy literally every spell into spell books.
Yeah.
So pick the one you might want now.
Yeah, that's why I was like, shield. Let's have everyone have
Yeah.
shield.
Shield sounds good to learn.
Or magic missile.
Magic
Well, with
missile.
shield, the caster becomes about as tanky as Vorak, slightly less, probably.
You know what? No. Magic missile's more in character.
True.
If you guys aren't looking at the rules, I'm gonna read them. So, if you don't spend enough time, the whole project is a failure, all work has been for naught, all money spent is wasted, and the process must begin again from scratch. There is a 10% chance that any failed project results in a curse as determined by the referee. And transcribing spells is an item that will have its time doubled if you are not working in a library worth 1,000 SP per level of the spell.
Oh.
Dude, we
Yeah,
literally can't do it with this night. We
Could
can't
be
do it
sick
in one.
days. Yeah.
Your intelligence modifier is applied to the final number of required days. So let's say I roll a 1 on my die, and the spell level is 1. So 1 times 1 is 1. And then it is doubled because you're not in a library, which makes 2. And if you have a positive intelligence modifier, we subtract from that. So it is possible, but you'd have to get phenomenally lucky.
Well, no, it is impossible for Refrain because he's the most average man on the planet.
The most average man on the
Zero.
planet.
He has
Zero
zeros.
intelligence mods.
Okay, good to know.
Both of us high five the magic users with 0 in mod.
Oh god. So
Disappointment to my magic family.
I will let you guys use fate points on this.
I don't have a fate point.
Damn.
You'll issue roleplay harder.
So do you guys want to spend 2 days of study?
I could try 2 days. Are you guys down to sit here for 2 days?
Is Vorak willing to sit 2 days?
I suppose.
It would
Like-
give Robin extra time to pack too. And I
Yeah.
mean, hell, if the place became under siege from those goblins like we were afraid of, you're a standing defense force.
Yeah, better to have us here for that. So I would spend 2 days trying to transcribe magic missile into
Right.
my spell book.
I think I
depending
agree,
on the
magic
die roll.
missile.
So we're gonna
Yeah.
do these one at a time, just so like we don't have to confuse the math. I am interested in hearing some role play based on what the die roll is, and I'm gonna do this on the camera so you guys can know if you want to do fate points if you have them. So we're transcribing magic missile. Whatever I roll is going to be multiplied by 2, and it's a D3. So just so we're clear, the way that I do D3s is 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. So like a 4 counts as 1, a 5 counts as 2, a 6 counts as 3. That's how I do D3s. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. So
Yeah.
here we go. Whatever I get times 2. Spending 2 days. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. So I rolled a 2 times 2. It would have taken 4 days on this one. So you have the option to spend a fate point, or we just say this one's a failure.
I'm gonna fate point.
You got a fate point. Here we go. Better study. 1, 2, 3. That's a 6. 6 days. Do you have any more fate points that you were willing to spend?
I have no more fate point.
Ripperonis. Okay, so what happens is you subtract 20 silver from your inventory, and I have to see if you get cursed. No curse. So
Yay.
a fate point would be almost like redoubling your efforts during the research. So what happened while you were trying to copy magic missile from Sidaris?
So Cramy pulls out her spell book, and it is the equivalent of like a mass market paperback that she has washed the ink out of the pages and then used charcoal to make her own notes and diagrams for how she needs to cast her different spells in. So as she is copying the spell onto a new page, the charcoal doesn't want to come off onto the page, and when she thinks she's finished, she lifts up her spell book, and all of the charcoal just slides off the page, and it's left blank.
Oh, that's rough. That's rough. Where did you do this research? Did you do it like in the public area? Did you do it outside? Did you do it in the room?
Ifrain, where do you think we would have done it? I was kind of thinking like somewhere near firelight, so we had like our
Yeah.
constant level of light the whole time we were working.
Collaborating together to try and get this done.
I love that. Okay,
And you watch
so
all of my charcoal just flop onto the table off the page.
sounds like it's time for Ephraim's die roll, the fateful die roll. We need big money, big money, big money.
We need exactly one.
Are we spending 2 days?
Yep.
Here we go. The most average caster in the world. 1, 2, 3, 1. Nice.
Ifrain sees the charcoal slide off, and he's like, "Well, let's get this done." And his grimoire, his family grimoire, it's got these ornate symbols, and the symbol, the main crest on it, is the symbol of Ram, the god of data and stuff.
Yeah.
And on the inside, you could see this like runic circle, and it's got lines and everything. And he's just finishing the circle, and it just like flashes blue, and it sort of seeps into the page, and stays there. And he's just like, "Whoop, that was lucky."
As you finish like the last character of what you're writing, a quadrilateral of like very bold pinkish it's like a dark tinged extra pink purple on it. I don't know the color that I'm trying to say because periwinkle is way too bright. It's like an extra red purple. It just like just to like confirm that everything is right. And you know for a fact that the quadrilateral is a symbol of Ram. Some people call him Rom. And it just like locks in your brain that this spell has been memorized. What is the spell that you chose?
It was magic missile as well.
Fuck yes. How did you practice it during the 2 days while you were scribing and trying to learn it?
So let's see. Hold on. While he was practicing, he was just kind of warming his hands to try and get a feel of how the magic flows. And while that was happening, the ribbons on his chakram were floating upwards as he practiced. And every time he would fail, they would drop. And he kind of uses it as a judgment for how well he's doing it.
They're almost like tuning forks, kind of.
Pretty much, yeah.
Okay. And when you like finally got it, it's like a gust of wind like kept them.
Yeah, they're floating like directly upwards, and they're like right.
Perfect.
And if his chakram were unhooked, I was going to make the chakram just kind of float slightly. That's how his casting sort of looks.
So one thing that's really beautiful about Magic Missile in this system is once you have written it in your spellbook, you get to design it visually. And that is how it looks all the time. If you were to put it into a potion, into a staff, wand, rod, scroll, anything, it is your brand of Magic Missile. So what is your brand?
That is a difficult one to do. Magic Missile.
I know based on the inspiration for your character, you mentioned something about like a slow moving electric orb.
Yeah, Holy Lightning.
Yeah.
The direct connection to the Fernandez name also has a magic missile type thing, but it's just like a orb that flies. So I think we'll go for a sort of purple orb that is crackling with magic. And it just speeds.
Gotcha. So like a round orb of like purple crackling energy that just goes like zip, 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 depending on how many of the darts get through.
And like the little particles that fly off aren't like lightning or just latent magic, but like runic circles of the design that he wrote in his book.
Ooh, so it like flies through the air and has like these like fading runes like coming off of it visually.
Yeah.
Oh, that's gorgeous. I really like that a lot. Good shit. No, that's excellent.
I will
Cool.
take this time to be right back, though.
Sure thing. And we spent some time here, so I'm going to advance our clock. I'm going to say the party spent 48 hours at Robin's Nest and Efrain 6 Fernandez successfully transcribed magic missile. Sweet, sweet, sweet. I love that. So you didn't get cursed. That's really good news, Cramey.
Yeah.
During your downtime, Vorak, I know you're not like a caster man. What did you spend your downtime on?
I'm making. I don't have my black powder with me, so I don't know.
Practicing your marksmanship on a wood pile.
Something, something
Sure.
of that note. I'm polishing my armor.
Polishing your armor, yeah. Probably like throwing darts and playing cards and shit.
Yeah.
Right on. Right on. Okay. So we have spent our day. So I'm going to adjust our macaroni here. Macaroni actually does sound like macaroni. Look at that. So we stopped here, and then we spent 48 hours. And now is the plan to like go straightly towards Stream Bridges? Or are we going to go more in a Bellavere direction for our river crossing here?
Well, are there roads along the coastline towards Stream Bridges, or is it primarily through Bellavere?
There's a bridge at Stream Bridges, and there is a bridge at this crossing as well. I know that they're not pictured on the map, but they are there. Verconaut has a very vested interest in making trade very easy on themselves.
Okay. So the question is, do we want to skip over Bellavere or head straight to Stream Bridges, or do we want to stop off at Bellavere?
Essentially, yeah.
I mean, a hot meal in Bellavere.
If there's anybody there, because it was abandoned.
Yeah, they
last-
summoned an eldritch being there, and the entire population moved out. And a bunch of refugees ended up in Verconaut. There were Bellaverian refugees in their traditional clothes. Like they have buckles on their shoes, and they wear a lot of muted browns and greens. It's like pseudo camouflage, but it's more so fashion. You would see them all over Verconaut when you were there.
Straight to Stream Bridges then.
Straight to Stream Bridges? Okay. Sounds like a majority to me.
Yep.
So let's roll for some weather. I mean, we've had some really fucking weird weather this campaign. So, I mean, who knows? We might get another double tornado travel. As you guys are plodding along on your horses, you guys left behind your German Shepherd friends, and they gave thumbs up as you departed. Slaps on the back, hugs. And you guys travel for much of the day, and as the sun is a little bit past midday, you just feel the temperature take a steep dive, like a supernatural dive, a vicious dive that would confuse plants, animals, humans alike. It went from like a balmy 70-ish degrees to about 30 degrees Fahrenheit in the course of a minute. So it's gone from a nice summer day to below freezing in a
I
minute.
think we would need to be adjusting for temperature shock in that swift of a change.
I mean, here's a great question, actually. What the hell are you guys wearing?
Leather armor and traveling clothes. Both are dark green.
Do you have like long sleeves? Is there a hood? Like, do you have gloves?
There,
Do you wear socks?
there is no hood, but there is that extra bit of cloth that drapes over the shoulders. It is long sleeves,
Okay.
and it just kind of semi covers up his leather armor, but it's got its look there.
Okay.
I've got on leather armor and clothing that's so patchwork with rags. It's more rag than original clothing at this point. And some like discount wizard's robes 2-for-1 sale garbage bargain bin thing that had been thrown out post Clarence not selling, that pulled out of the trash robe over everything.
You are the dirtiest wizard, is what I'm hearing.
I was a rag seller and I cannot do business with Lord Reginald's taxes. I want him dead.
Odd. Perfect.
If
yeah.
Frank's gonna see Kramy's current look of freezing cold, he probably
No
is.
body fat, just fucking teeth chattering, refusing to admit she's cold.
Frayne is going to take off like the traveling cloak that he has on that covers sort of just his back half and just offer it over.
That's so nice.
I can't. I don't want him to be encumbered. I don't want to be encumbered.
Traveling clothes do not encumber.
Okay, but if I get slowed down by this, I'm gonna be holding this.
I want both of you to give yourselves a fate point. This is beautiful. This is the beginning of a wonderful friendship, or maybe tragedy. We'll have to see.
Who knows?
Yeah, who knows?
Vorak is just rattling like a couple of tin cans being dragged behind a car because he's shivering inside of his plate armor.
Oh, you're wearing your plate mail during travel?
Always.
All right. You guys did not make it to the river today. I assumed you had taken it off. Let's take a look at the movement table. I think you moved like a third of the normal speed.
But that's on foot, not on horseback.
True. There is a war horse that he can ride that could easily carry him.
Yeah. How many points of encumbrance do you have, Vorak?
I'm at 3.
You're at 3, so the animal is at 8 points.
That would make it unencumbered, I think.
Over encumbered, I think. Let's see, hold on.
The mount chart is kind of hard to read.
Oh, is that the mount chart? Gotcha. 0 to 10. Oh yeah, it would be unencumbered. Holy shit. Are you serious? You can wear plate mail on a horse and it's fine? That's good.
War horse. I think that... I don't know if that counts for standard horse.
Oh, this is really good. Let's see. Oh, and I finally found the mention about forced marches. If you travel 12 hours per day, you add an additional 50% to the distance traveled, and each day of forced march performed, you take 1d6 damage. Jesus.
1d6.
Right? Could you imagine just like force marching a wizard and just killing them? Oh my god.
That's why you haul the wizards in the carts.
They assume 8 hours of travel. Yeah. That's what's going on. 8 hours of travel. And if you push it for an extra 4, naturally you get half. You get 50% further. That makes complete sense. Okay. Let's see. It doesn't have any barding. You guys are pulling a vehicle.
We've got 5 horses for 4 people and a cart.
Okay, so your cart would make you go just a little bit slower than if you didn't have a cart, is what I'm seeing. Just a little bit slower. Okay. So then you guys would make it like that far. It's not that big of a difference. So, you guys are experiencing like very, very cold weather. Is there anything that you guys want to do about that? You're going to have to cross the river, or hell, maybe the weather is going to get so cold that you guys can just walk across the ice and save yourself some miles of travel.
Oh.
Well,
So what are you guys eating today? Robin did not send you off with food.
well, Efrain has iron rations still.
Amy's got iron ration
Are these on your person, or are these coming from the cart?
On his person.
on my
Okay.
person.
Okay. So that's 2 people eating rations. What about Vorak?
Borak doesn't have any rations on him.
Efrain will toss one over to him then.
Oh, you're so kind.
You don't make it out in the Deadlands by being rude.
True.
All
Alrighty.
of Borak's extra gear is in the cart, the other cart.
That is true.
So, just a question for the crew. We can go extra fast and we can skip this roleplay opportunity, but I will offer up a fate point to anyone who tells like a story or a rhyme or a song.
I have 5 reading books, ambiguous, in my backpack that I was actually planning on reading to myself for the night, but I could read them at the fire and share the adventures within with everyone.
What's the story?
I was just looking for some kind of table of genres to figure out what kind of books I bought.
Okay. I mean, I think it makes
I'm
complete
back on
sense
mic.
to have like a book of short stories. You know, it could be many different genres.
You know what? One's a Grimm's fairy tales kind of thing. Give me a second. Let me pull a story out of my ass.
So, Ribbon, what we're doing is I offered up a fate point for one person who would tell a story or a rhyme or a history or sing a song or something because we've
Oh, nice.
made camp. So that's what's going on.
If I knew any short stories about the region Deadlands, I would share them, but
Short stories about the Deadlands.
yeah, but everything's dead except for my town. I suppose he could talk
mean-
about his town.
There's always Belladonia herself. You know, raised a human in Mournhold, didn't make it inside when the gates were raised, turned by a vampire, lost her vampire daddy, never met him because he was staked that same day. Stole a necromancer's tome from a necromancer's tower and inhabited Castle Belladonia with 3 of her vampire friends. Tons of stories around there. We can tell that one at another
Yeah.
campfire.
I mean, Efrain already kind of mentioned one part of the story about the Hishurians that died.
Mm-hmm. That got turned into skeletons.
All right, who's in the mood for a scary story?
Brian me.
Careful now. We don't want to give anybody nightmares after all the bloody combat they've seen.
Yeah, you guys are
Don't
a couple
worry.
miles away from the corpses of your friends right now. Like,
The
look how close we
scariest
are.
story. Man and girl go out on carriage ride under moonlight. They stop at a side of road. He turned to his girl and say, "Baby, I love you very much." "What is it, honey?" Our carriage is broken down. I think the horse is broken. I'll walk and go get a new one. Okay, I'll stay here and look after our carriage radio. There have been reports of them being stolen recently. Good idea. Keep the carriage doors locked no matter what. I love you, Sweaty. So the guy left to get a new horse for the carriage. After 2 hours, the girls say, "Where is my baby? He was supposed to be back by now." Then the girl hear a scratching sound and a voice say, "Let me in." The girl doesn't do it. And then, after a while, she goes to sleep in the carriage. The next morning, she wakes up and she finds her boyfriend still not there. She goes out to check, and man, door, hand, hook, carriage, door.
Uh,
What's a carriage radio?
I don't
carriage
know.
doors?
Who was
This
phone?
book cost me so few copper. You don't.
Was it written by a time traveler?
Chat
It sounded AI
GPT.
generated if it wasn't so terrible.
All right,
Is that a failed spell?
that's a fate point, but I'm asking myself why. Carriage door, hook hand.
Do you just have
Horrifying.
a failed spell written there?
Jesus Christ.
Maybe.
I'm shocked that you were able to work that into like a tabletop RPG. That's kind of impressive. All right. Well, it is the dawn of a new day. What Ribbon has missed is I rolled for weather, and it was like a balmy 70 plus degrees Fahrenheit outside, right near the equator of Ur, and in the course of a minute, the temperature dropped to about 30 degrees. And oh god, I still haven't memorized your names. Ephraim handed over a cloak to Cramey to help keep her warm in the super coldness. So one question I have for Ribbon is, what is Ribbon wearing? Like, does Ribbon have countermeasures against the cold, or are you in a similar boat as Cramey is?
Vorak.
And Vorak, yeah.
He definitely doesn't have countermeasures against the cold, though. The fun part about caves that a lot of people don't know, unless they've ever been in a cave, is they typically stay between 40 and 60 degrees all the time. So it's quite habitable. So that would be the temperature that he's used to, and anything colder than that would really surprise him.
All right. So if we spend too long out here, you're going to get the sleep deprivation penalty applied. So I would advise that you guys have like cold weather gear in preparation for future adventures, knowing that like this is possible even during the summer. It's fucking July and that happen. But it was a supernatural cold, which is very strange.
We're near
Anyway.
a goblin camp, aren't we?
Oh yeah, right next to it.
Hmm.
Like a couple miles away.
Hmm.
So, this is the time where the magic users prepare their spells and, do their morning stretches and whatnot. What are we going to do today?
March.
We gotta make it through. Yeah.
Sounds good. So you guys are taking all your gear and you make it over the bridge. And you are now in the swamp, which means it's time for a weather roll, because this can get really bad.
Yeah.
Oh, dude, excellent conditions. Absolutely excellent conditions. So how I'm interpreting this roll is it was so cold that it turns the mud into a hard surface that is much easier to go over. Like, it's an extremely bumpy ride, but it's way better than getting your cart and your horses and your feet stuck in the mud. So you guys are able to travel much further than anticipated. So you'll get a little bonus to your to your walking. And you guys agreed that you wanted to head over to Stream Bridges and cross the bridge there. If you guys push it extra hard and do a forced march, you can make it to Stream Bridges right now. But you will take you'll take a d6 of damage each. And yeah, that's no fun.
If Range is gonna be like, no.
Because you're low max HP.
He has 6.
Both of us
Precisely.
magic users are
Alrighty.
scared of that.
Alrighty.
So
yeah.
We'll set up camp, and Vorak's gonna chop down a couple trees and build a big old fire.
Sure. I don't think we need to roll to chop down the trees because you have plenty of time. Oh, what are you using to chop the trees? Is it a battle axe?
My one-hand axe, yeah.
Cool. Yeah, it's the wood is a little bit wet, so it's going to take some doing to get that fire going. But Ribbon has some pretty high bushcraft. Now, as far as food, what are you guys going to do about food?
I still have 7 rations.
Right on.
We could probably forage for everyone, I think.
Frog legs for dinner.
I think foraging reduces your movement. Let me take a look.
There's hunting while you move that does, but isn't it different if you've already set up camp?
I'm okay with us erasing some of the line and doing some retroactive stuff. Let's see. Okay, so if you hunt, I roll a d4, and whatever the result is multiplied by 25 to determine the percentage of lost movement. So what that means is if I roll a 4, if I roll maximum, you guys cannot travel that day.
I have an offer. Hear me out.
I guess in the future the question should be like, all right, it's the morning. Do you plan to hunt and forage while you travel? I think that's the better question to ask.
Traveling is only 8 hours out of the day, right? So we should have.
I think it says 10.
Travel. So your travel time is 8 hours and 12 hours during a forced march, and you can't do any more than 12. What I'm seeing on here is it says hunting takes time, and the distance traveled during a day where successful hunting occurs is lessened by 1d4 times 25. Oh, I guess that says only when it's successful. But there is a chance that you don't travel anywhere on a successful hunt.
The thing is, we're not moving because we stopped now.
We wake up at 7 a.m. We arrive at our destination by 3 p.m. That leaves at least 3 or 4 hours to hunt that evening.
But what it's saying is, hunting takes time and the distance traveled during a day where successful hunting occurs is lessened by d4 times 25.
Yeah, the distance traveled where successful hunting occurs. We've already hit the end of our travel and we're setting up camp, so what happens then?
That's why I'm saying I think I'm supposed to ask you, do you guys want to hunt today before we move?
So we can just forage for plants and stuff, and that's not really hunting, that's just survival.
Let's see.
How many of us here have rations? Because I could just hand them out.
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah, we don't even have to worry about it.
Yeah, I've got rations.
All right, so Ribbon, do you have rations?
I don't think so. Let me verify.
That's so weird. It doesn't say anything about foraging. See, this is one of those situations where when I write my own rulebook, it's going to be very clearly explained. Because I've read the whole section on foraging and hunting, and they say, the only line where they talk about foraging specifically says, all food gained from foraging and hunting is considered to be the equivalent of standard rations. It doesn't say anything about, oh, this is how your movement is impacted when you forage.
Well,
or how long it would take time-wise to
this
just
is something
do
that
it.
would just have to be out of the rule book.
Well, if Ribbon doesn't have rations on him, he will pass 2 rations out, 1 to Vorak, 1 to Ribbon.
Very nice of you. So here's how we're going to handle it. In the future, I'm going to bring up, do we want to forage and or hunt during the day before we head out? And if I forget, please, please, please remind me. I want to make sure that we don't miss that.
Good call.
Yeah. Honestly, rules is written. I think the answer is always going to be no, because there's a chance that we just waste a day of travel, and it's like 5
Yep.
silver pieces to just buy rations instead.
Yep. It's and we're not in a survival situation right now. We have some we have like civilization around us. It's not too bad.
Mm-hmm.
It's not too bad. Cool. So we'll have another opportunity if anyone wants a fate point at camp tonight. It's up for grabs. Or we can say skip it and we move on.
Give me a minute to see if I can come up with another one.
Hmm. There is a tale of a group of warriors in the Deadlands. Whether they come from there or not, I do not know. But they're well known for using a whip. This particular man, I'm not too sure who he was, what his name was, but he had traveled across the Deadlands. He gathered up 3 people to assist him. One from
This
my
guy
town.
is canon.
Ultra.
He's canon. If you're talking about Simon Belmont, he is canon.
No,
Are you talking
I'm
about?
talking about Trevor.
I was just about to ask if it was Trevor. Okay.
Because Trevor gathered 3 people, Grant, Alucard, and Cypher. He gathered one resident of my town, of Uldra, a great magic user, one of my ancestors, actually. One of the strongest magic users our family ever produced. And they had traveled to this, what once was, what is now occupied by the female vampire up in Belladonia. They had traveled there and slew the vampire there that was living there at the time, which did happen to result in the creation of the current ruler of Belladonia. Sad to say. But it was an arduous journey. They had slew many monsters across and protected many villages, which allowed us to survive for more years to come.
Very cool. You can award yourself a fate point for regaling us in a story. Let's see our calendar. So we spent the day at Robin's Nest. Then we traveled a day and it was really cold. Then we traveled a day and now we're here. Okay, so we wake up and it would be Friday, 1 week after the death of many party members. So we wake up at the crack of dawn on Friday, 20th. All right. Are we going to hunt, gather? We're going to do any of that during our travel and risk movement?
No.
I don't think so, but if you wouldn't mind, I'd like to make the caveat, similar to whenever we were going to the Goblin Murder Fest. Ribbon will walk out of eyeshot, but within earshot of the party to scout ahead for danger.
Okay. Cool. I think that sounds very reasonable. What you observe are empty fucking roads. You know, there used to be hella trade between Streambridges and Bellavere, back and forth, to and fro, and there's really no reason for people to be on this bridge, on this road to Bellavere anymore. So it's just frankly quite abandoned, and you see more animals than normal, more birds, more foxes, carrion birds as well. In other words, pretty clear.
Oh.
Does that mean you guys are pressing onwards into Streambridges?
Indeed.
Yes.
Right on.
Get out of this darn swamp.
Absolutely. Let's do a weather roll. Hey, pretty good conditions. Pretty good conditions. All right, now I need to roll another die. Nice. The weather has returned quite a bit to normal, but it only does so in a way that positively impacts your travel. So, you remember how I talked about the mud being like totally frozen and easy to go over? When you guys are crossing the bridge, the midday sun is just like baking. It's like high 60 degrees, which is a huge difference compared to like the 30 degrees from earlier. Now, I wish I had like something I could show you that represents like what Stream Bridges looks like. It was a dwarf fortress that I did on stream for a collaboration succession fort. It was along the coastline. They had a sea lab off to the east coast that was made entirely out of green glass, where they had pumps set up and a library for research. There was a clear glass like terrarium that sat above the fortress that was a tavern built specifically for visitors. And along the south coast, like I can kind of draw it. Show you what I mean. Whoa. What the hell?
It loaded the default template.
What the fuck? I saw the sign and opened up my... You know what? That's actually fine. There we go. So we'll do the default colors. So what's interesting is there is a border around the whole damn thing. Let's see. So the coast looks kind of like that. And then it looked like that. And it extends like that. Okay. So out on this side is all water. It's like ocean water. You know, all this is ocean. So there is no... Oh, that's laggy. There's no border over there. And then there is the green glass sea lab that extends outwards, kind of like that. That's the sea lab. And then, so it looked like this. And then this is the sandy beach. Oh my gosh. Can we just like fill?
Time for a RAM upgrade.
It's a
I think it's just
website.
this program, yeah.
It's a website.
You might want to
Time for
try
an
like
ISP upgrade.
yeah.
Okay, so there's the sandy beach, and then the entrance is like right here. And it goes into like underground, and there's like an above ground like farming right here, and just like granite walls surrounding this place. And if you wanted to get in, there was like bridges right here that went off screen. So there was like a bridge system that went out like this. And then there was a pillar out on the water right here that you would have to step on. And then another system of bridges that went off like this. And then there was another pillar. So this was a defense system. And then the bridges like went out on the outside of the wall. So it's really defensible to get into here. So how you guys would enter is you would go over here, and then you'd walk across all these bridges. You know, just one single lever pull, and you guys are dunked into the ocean, which occasionally freezes. And then you.
I'd like to mention that this design of a bridge was also historically used because then you would have to turn on the bridge and face your shields in a different direction if you were unaware, so they would shoot arrows at you.
Oh gosh, that's like it's a historical thing?
Yeah. There's a couple in Germany.
Damn, I didn't realize I was using German defense strategies when I came up with this design on the stream. That's interesting.
In Japan, they have really high walls as they just kind of built them up real high, and they just rain arrows down on your head. They also did things like that. They'd also do the change direction bridge.
Oh my gosh. See,
And if they had
didn't know it
like
was
a
a thing.
tower out, if they had like a tower out in the ocean, if they even turned their arrows, their shields towards the main building, they could have like an archer just pelt them from the side.
It's
So,
really
like, close to-
fascinating how much of medieval architecture was paying attention to the direction you're making your opponents or possible opponents move versus the way that your folks are allowed to move.
And now with like guns and bombs and explosives and stuff, it's like, okay, how can I see as much as possible while revealing as little of my vulnerable parts as possible?
Mm-hmm.
It's so crazy. I've seen like Gothic architecture and stuff, and you can see that like they wanted you to like have your back to arrow slits and like going around like winding corridors and stuff. It's really interesting how much of that is like effective in Dwarf Fortress as well. But I digress. This is a place where lovers and poets unite. It's a place for rabble rousing. Lots of history being written here, great libraries, wonderful taverns. They weren't particularly well known for their artworks, but they were known for making images of things. Like out in the ocean, they had a green glass statue of a green ogre, and it was called like the miraculous fragrance of onions. That was the name of the artwork, and that was a famous piece. And they look eastward off into the sea. They were striking triumphant poses, and I'm sure you guys can understand the reference that took place. So one thing about this place is they had 7 leaders that ran it, and they always send out a leader to come meet you guys. That's just how it goes around here culturally. So I'd say around like 2-3 p.m. As you guys are going across the bridge, outruns a very thickly bearded dwarf who is clad in iron chain all over his body. He comes out and he says, "Great to meet you. Yeah, they call me Deep Space." Shakes you warmly by the hand.
Well met, my friend. How might you be?
Yeah. Oh yeah, she'll be all right. Well, what brings you around here?
We're just passing through to Mournhold. Probably going to stay here a day if we can, and well,
Maybe
actually,
buy some stuff.
yeah.
Nice. Yeah, well, just make yourselves at home, and just let me know if you need anything, right?
Of
Do you
course.
guys have a library?
Of course we do. Of course we do. They're mighty fine. I think you'll be a big fan. Got some over in the C Lab. Is that your
Hey,
your
real quick,
fancy?
he's speaking the common to us?
He's speaking common. Yeah.
Okay.
This is my attempt at a Kiwi accent. This is
Pretty
based
good.
on a real person that was involved in the succession for it. Hold on. Shout out to Deep OX20. There we go. That's him. Deep Space. The OX20 is the hexadecimal representation of the space character. So his name is Deep Space, and I find that very clever. Also funny because Deep Space is like the kind of compound words that make up a lot of dwarven names, like cat basement. So his name works out really well. And if you were wondering, yes, there is a Scooty Loo dwarf here, but Deep
Does he
Space was
also
the one
happen to run?
Yeah,
Oh, meta.
he's one of the 7.
Very
Let
cool.
me see if I can remember all 7. So there's Deep Space, Scooty Loo, Osmasker, Wendy Kitten, Lolatov Cocktail, Maverick, and there's one more. Who the hell was it? Remember, he wasn't able to do it very often. And I think that's why I'm forgetting his name. Shoot. Oh well, there were 7.
Very cool.
So you guys want to check out the library. Is that for perhaps copying spells?
Spells? No, I was looking for comic books.
Oh, dude, this place, speaking of, this place is really well known for their smut. They wrote a lot of smut here, if that's your thing. They brew a lot of booze.
Dive into that. But I'm also looking for are there any signs around in Dwarven? Because I'm gonna need a language check.
If you're looking for a language check, I mean certainly there are dwarves that live here, but this fort is largely common. If you want that language check, we can make it happen, though. You could stop by a bar and we could have a chance encounter with dwarves if you're ready for that.
Or you could just sit and talk to Vorak.
Oh yeah, Vorak.
That too. Either way, it comes.
Those options. I do only have that one.
So you have a language skill of 1, which is the base, and your intelligence modifier is 0, so it's a big fat 1. You got to get a 1 to know Dwarven, is what I'm hearing.
Mm-hmm.
Here we go. That is a 5, my friend.
Guess I'm not going to be able to know the intricate details of the plot in their Dwarven smut.
Can Efrain attempt to learn Dwarven from Vorak?
100%. You have the same modifiers, right?
I still have fate points to spend.
If you want to spend it, do it now.
I would like to spend fate point to re-roll.
You got it.
At least once.
Hey, that's a 1. You know Dwarven.
All right, hell yeah.
Excellent. Good use of a fate point. All right.
Efrain has 3 out of 6.
Whoa, that's your modifier. Holy!
I put both of my points in languages.
Holy!
It's the one that makes the most sense for him.
And that's it. We got Dwarven. Let's go. Fernanda's family, I guess. You know Dwarven.
Yeah.
When you know, you know. Good stuff. So, you guys are gonna spend the night here. I think that's great. Let's figure out some costikins. What is it gonna cost us? I assume that you guys always want a room with a lock on it, so the prices I've been giving are the secure prices. If you guys want otherwise, just let me know. I just assume that you guys are being careful in most cases.
How much money well, actually, never mind. Vorak is carrying a fucking ton, so never mind.
I think so. He did spend a couple gold on our good friend Robin to get her going, which is awesome. Did I give you a fate point for that?
No.
You deserve one. So, if you just wanted to stay in a barn, that would be 1 copper. It would be like you sleeping with animals, essentially. That's 1 copper.
But we could totally afford a secure room, so
you can, yeah. I think that Stream Bridges counts as rural. It's not super big. So a secure room would be 5 silver base. So that is 10 silver with taxes included. And how many people are we lodging?
So if I just drop a gold on it, that covers us?
Yeah. There's 4 of us.
Yeah, that would cover you guys and a tip. That could cover you guys and your food.
That works.
Cool. Right on. So, you guys are spending the night, and in the middle of the night, it sounds like there's quite a party going on right now. I know that you guys are not too culturally inclined as far as Stream Bridges goes, so You guys don't know why they're partying, but certainly there are a lot of people around celebrating something.
Ramey's gonna go see if she can get some booze.
Absolutely.
If
Absolutely.
Frane's just gonna go out to see if he can learn more about the culture.
Sure thing. Any curious inquiring minds can go check out the any one of the taverns. They're having simultaneous parties going on, and looks like they're celebrating the felling of a great forgotten beast well in the past, a beast composed of steam and spite. And it was slain with a battle axe, and that battle axe was enshrined forever in green glass as an artifact of the region. And they are proclaiming their thankfulness to the brave dwarves in the military company that defended them from certain doom. And this is them drinking to represent the spilled blood of the steam monster. So the tradition is that all the alcohol that you drink during the party is warm to represent the steam creature's blood.
If Frane can get behind that, he'll have a drink.
Absolutely. Yeah,
Try and think
drinks
over
are
a
free.
monster.
Drinks are free
Warm us
tonight,
up
and
from outside.
they even encourage you to like pack it up in a flask or a bottle or something if you so desire. But they remind you, like, it's best served hot. Tons of music, lots of dancing, storytelling going around. People
How
will
much is
claim
it
like,
for a
"Oh, I was
flask?
there." How much is
How
it
much
for a
does it
flask?
cost?
Good question.
Yeah, because water skin is 1 silver. So
I'm thinking it would probably be 1 silver unless we can find something else more appropriate. I know there's like flask of lamp oil.
which is 5 copper.
Yeah, a water skin.
Because I know what a water skin looks like, and I'm not sure that would be best for holding alcohol.
I've seen people
But-
hold wine in literal water skins. Like I've been
So,
to
like, yeah.
events. Well,
Yeah,
there are
that's
like
all-
vials and bottles for 5 copper. Frankly, I think a flask would be 5 copper at a city and rural 7. So 14 with taxes included.
Yeah, no. A Frane will buy a flask and he'll give them 2 silver.
Okay, so
Just-
there's a tip involved. Contrary to Cat Basement, these guys totally accept tips. It is not disrespectful in their culture, and this place
Afraid-
even has green glass tip jars laying out and about. So
And
this
Frane's
is
just like, for the defeat of the monster.
right on. I
For all
don't
victories
I don't
won.
remember the name of the monster. I could look through VODs to find the name of the monster, but yeah.
For further victories. That's how I'll put it.
100%. 100%. And one thing that's really lovely about this community is the seven leaders. They do not put themselves on a super high pedestal above the rest of the people. Like they're joking around and like arm wrestling and drinking and whatnot with the common people. This is very they're very well integrated with their group, which is like the complete and total polar opposite to most dwarven kingdoms and lordships and other fortresses where there's entire caste systems dedicated to this. So I don't know what you guys think about that. I don't know what Vorak thinks about that, being a dwarf himself. You were from Crimson Crucible, weren't you?
Right. Very cast.
Oh, yeah. You never see the nobles in the Crimson Crucible. Some people are like, oh, they're just a phantom government. They don't really exist. They've been dead for years.
Yeah, haven't been seen in over 100 years.
Yeah, they say that their skin is like all gold because they spend all their time around the gold of the place, and that's why they don't want to be around people. Yeah. Completely different cultural shift.
Yeah.
So it sounds like a fun night of partying for everyone. I want to know if there's any unfinished business you guys would like to take care of for the day. If you want to research spells, that will commence tomorrow. And I'm gonna mark this in our calendar of happenings that we stop by Stream Bridges.
Will their library let me check out books as a non-citizen?
They'll let you buy books. They have tons and tons of copies of books. So if you go look at the price of a reading book, divide it in half. They have so many books. So many. They also have like scrolls you can buy, codices, tons and tons of copies of things. Like they have lots of scholars that write the books, and then they have tons of scribes that work underneath the scholars to copy them because there's no printing press.
I'm gonna buy 2 of their reading books. The rural price is 20 silver. So halved and then taxed, it'd be 20 silver per book.
Yeah, exactly. They're doing a buy one get one free.
Oh, excellent. Okay. So my personal is down to 58 silver.
Okay.
Oh,
And for those who are going around, there is a bank here.
Oh. Can I
Is
do
it the
that?
same company as the one of?
It's a central bank.
Okay, so we can actually withdraw from this one because they're connected.
Vorak
I'm
is
gonna
going
get some more
to-
rations and then pull back out to 98 silver.
Yeah. Let me just check how much.
I'm gonna
Go ahead,
take some
Borak. I'm sorry.
notes. I'm gonna take some notes on who has banks and who doesn't. Let's see. Okay,
Vorak's going to
so
go investigate and see if they've actually started any black powder production.
hold on. What about the black powder production?
Vorak's going to go investigate and make sure that they're actually producing it.
In cat
Because we
basement?
just no here because we
Here.
disseminated the knowledge to all
Oh
the dwarves.
right, we shared those. Yes, I remember that.
So he was going to go investigate some black powder production and possibly buy a small supply, depending on what they've got on hand.
Sure. So you want to see if they're up to the production of black powder?
Yeah, they're actually doing it.
The answer is yes, but incredibly slowly. Very, very slowly. They've got like less than 1 keg.
Fair enough.
Yep.
My friend's also going to buy 3 more rations out of pocket.
Cool. Standard price on those plus tax.
Yep.
Now, you
I
guys
just-
were talking about withdrawing money. How much do I need to withdraw?
55 gold for or gold, 55 silver for me.
Got it? Anyone else?
Let's see. Let me just do some real quick math.
Mm-hmm.
30 silver.
Okay. Anything else?
Good here.
Looks good. Okay, so we're at 52,583 in our bank. Cool.
Okay.
And it sounds like you guys are withdrawing this directly into your pockets. It's not like we're carrying this around in our locked chest. Our locked chest is empty right now. Is there anything you guys want to stuff into the locked chest?
The flask of liquor that I bought.
You want to keep that locked up?
I want to keep that safe.
Anyone
Appreciate.
be opposed to me storing some spare crossbow bolts in the cart?
Feel free.
Yeah, like that should be fine. Like I have a bunch on me.
Oh, how many do you have on you?
38 regular and 40 silver.
Silver crossbow bolts. That's a thing?
Yes.
In character, had no idea about it.
They're good for the strange beasties.
Mm.
That is true, my friend.
Just as a note about the liquor that you got, it was clear gin. That's the drink that you stuffed in the lockbox.
Very nice. I just transferred it from encumbrance to non-encumbering with the little note that it's inside the chest.
Great. Was there anything else that we were doing with our cart contents or our accounting? Just while I have it up.
Not with the cart. Well,
Are we
cart
accounting
contents,
person?
technically, yes. Vorak's gonna basically talk them out of a pony keg, give them 100 gold, which is far more than what it's worth.
100
For
gold?
five. Well, no, well, sorry, not 500 gold, but 500 silver's worth for a 500 shot little pony keg of black powder.
Gotcha. Is that tax included in that?
Yeah, that's well more than
Well,
what it's
more.
worth because
Excellent.
it's 5 copper in a rural area per shot. A keg
Sure.
is 150 silver points, and that's 2,500 shots. So,
Sure. What's the encumbrance on it? Is it oversized?
if it's a pony keg, it would probably not be.
That's one of the
I guess
smaller.
I would say these are one encumbrance per item. Like these ones don't stack. These ones
Yeah.
like you have to carry extras.
Right. So that would be going in the cart, but yes. Or
Sweet.
I just take one encumbrance or an extra encumbrance. I don't care.
I mean, you just make a note on your non-encumbrance list that the keg is in the cart.
Right.
That's what I did.
What city are we in right now?
Stream bridges. Here, I'll show you.
Scooty, can
There. We're in stream bridges.
Could I just buy a quiver worth of arrows? 20 arrows.
Definitely. Yeah. Whoa. What is going on? Oh, I hit the fill button. There we go. It's a bit better. Let's
drop,
grab our party symbol. There we go.
can I drop like 25 silver? I think it works out to for a quiver of 20 silver tipped crossbow bolts.
Silver tipped. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. As long as you're including the tax, go for it. I'm glad that you guys are keeping personal accounting well. It makes my job a lot easier. Okay. So I think that this is a good spot for us to stop for now. I feel like we're at a cozy place to stop, and we can resume with more people next sesh.
Sounds good.
Is there any like last minute stuff that you guys want to do before we wrap?
I do want to annotate that quiver of bolts is in the cart, not on me.
Thank you. Let's mark that. River of 20 crossbow bolts.
Silver tipped.
Excellent. What is the value of the quiver?
Quiver was 5. The crossbow bolts came out to I think
How
it
much
was
each?
20.
One crossbow
It'd be
bolt is
one
5
each,
copper.
Right?
They're 5 copper, but then as silver, they
Mhm.
cost 10 times more. Like
So it's
20
5
bolts
silver
comes out
each.
to 1 silver.
5 bolts is 1 silver?
I thought. Unless I was doing them, or I thought it was 20 bolts.
20 bolts in 1 quiver, yes.
Yeah. So then I was just multiplying that by 10 and then doubling it for tax. I did forget to double the cost of the quiver.
I think it costs 10 silver.
Let's see.
If I'm doing my math right.
So a crossbow bolt is 5 copper, and then we multiply that by 2, so it's 10 copper because of the tax. And then where's
Yeah.
the silver part?
It's 10 times more. So one crossbow bolt would
Is that
be 5.
10 silver each? Yeah.
Yeah, 10 silver per bolt.
10 silver per bolt. Oh my god.
And then if you're buying 20, it's 200 silver.
And then a quiver for 10 because of tax.
Yeah.
Good.
So in total, it's 210.
Wait, this is not right. Hold on. Total value is those two value. Oh, that's encumbrance that I'm doing. Whoops.
Oopsie.
Yeah, we need to adjust this. Wait, I just fucked it up again, I think. Did I? Yeah, we're good. You got one quiver. Total value 5. Oh, but I had the tax in there, so that's the base value 5.
Yeah. So the total value would be 210 for the quiver and arrows.
You're right.
Or bolts.
I'm gonna say no tax, just so we are acutely aware that there's no tax. Okay. So this is bolts silvered. Okay, there we go. So how much do I need to reduce from our accounting? Because you would have withdrawn more for that.
That would have just been the 210.
So minus
'Cause I
210. Okay.
Yeah.
Got it. We're at 52,373. Sweet. Is there anything else we should go over during our lovely time together?
Think we're good.
Let's see who we can raid. Oh, dude, Genesis Buddha, 100%. Go watch some sports ball.
Ball sports.
Ball sports. That's what's going on. All right.